Hello. YouTube tells me I'm live. Not that I ever trust it. And we're doing something a little bit different tonight. So, just to add to the general humour, we've got something extra that could break everything. Yay! But apparently, I'm here at the moment. I'm alive. I'll start saying hello. Hello, everyone. Mike was first. Hello, Deb. Is that Sezzy? 10 p.m, that's bedtime. Oh, no!
You are live.
But you would like to know when Elaine's using Sublime Text and BB Edit and which one she prefers. We need an Ask Me Anything, don't we? And then we could do that. I prefer Sublime for general work. I prefer BB Edit when I need to script something. Love both of them. Have used BB Edit since I got a Mac in 2006 and picked up Sublime Text not long after it came out. Sublime has some lovely commands where if I've got like 500 lines of text and they need to have something put at the beginning or something removed from the end, I can do it just with a few keyboard shortcuts. Makes your eyes bleed, doesn't it, when I do that? You say, oh, I've got this job and it's going to take forever, and then it doesn't. So Sublime's lovely. They're both fantastic. If you'd like to know more than that, let me know in the chat and we'll key something up in the future. Hello, Renee. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Kim. Hello, Deb. I'm sensing a full complement of Debs. Any sign of the iPad yet? She's what?
Which iPad? Which Deb?
Oh, that's true. There's so many iPads. Has any turned up? Let's start from that. Hello, Jonathan. Hope I've not missed anybody. Hello, Paul. Hello, Peter. Oh, a full house. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. Excellent. Right. 480. Here we go. That's YouTube for you. I've no idea what it's done to me tonight. I'm just going to leave it alone and hope for the best. 360. Any advance on 360? By which I mean anything lower than 360.
Lower.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good. It's not. Right. Okay. Let's get on and tell you what we've got planned for today. Fingers crossed it all moves when it should do. Well, it's sort of moving when it should do, but not all of it, because it's playing with my mind. But there we go. That is what we have got today. I've had to make a swift readjustment. It's been chaotic already, hasn't it, tonight? But we have something called Paste Keyboard, which means you get to see my new iPad in all its glory, because I'll be doing a demo with it. Then we've got Evernote Tasks. That's new. Brand new. I've got a fantastic freebie. Talk about waste my time this week. Oh, it's a game. I know you're shocked, but it's a good one. It's a good one that even I play. Then Mike is doing data model relationships and lookups. Sounds like it's an evening with Mike and his women. Then I'm looking at splitting PDFs and file management in Alfred, which you may not know it does file management, but it does. And then we do have an unboxing because something broke this week. So we needed to replace it. So I have a brown paper parcel next to me. I am wondering about the logic of putting what it is in a brown paper parcel. But we will unbox it. And presupposing that everything's in one piece inside it, we'll set it up as well. Oh, what a night. Right, so you're already sharing where you're at, and it's not good. It's not good, but we are broadcasting in 1080p. I have done some extra little things, which you won't see until much later. But fingers crossed it all works, otherwise we have got a problem. While you're down there, give us a like, because it really does make a difference with YouTube. And as we were discussing in Marooned, YouTube play with my mind on a constant basis. This week, not only was it likes on videos that totally vanished, it was subscribers that disappeared and then came back and then disappeared. And I thought, you know what, stop looking. And then they've all come back and brought a load more with them. So I don't know what YouTube are up to this week. Right, Saturday. Oh, Saturday was going to be so good. We had 8 music shows keyed up. But it was the first day of our holiday, if you remember. And our holidays are renowned for anything could happen. We've had tsunamis, we've had nuclear meltdowns, we never have a holiday without incident, but we made it through the entirety of Saturday. And at 6:30 on Saturday, it was, let's just grab a bit of food before we go into Marooned at MacBites headquarters, which was when this happened outside the window. And that's our office window looking out. And Mike came flying up the stairs with, what's going on? I'm like, what? Never saw a thing, never said a thing. Turned round to see we had 9 police cars and 2 police vans And the van in the middle, the one with the door open at the side, that was a people carrier. And it had people in it. And they got them out and they dragged a dog off this guy. He had a little puppy in his arms. And I wondered why they were taking the puppy off him. The dog looked harmless. But then they tasered him. So it was good that the puppy was elsewhere when that was happening. And it went on. And I said to Mike, we've got to go live on Marooned. And they've not finished yet. It took them ages to deal with this. I couldn't get a picture wide enough, but all these cars backed on up to the right as well. That was taken off our CCTV, which I was trying to hide behind a curtain in case they knocked and wanted it, because it was right in front of it. So that's been taken away and hidden away somewhere. I do have a copy of the video. Luckily, they'd just about gone, hadn't they, by 2 seconds to 7 when we went live with Marooned at MacBites headquarters. But yes, the holiday started in its usual inimitable style. By 8 o'clock, we were heading off into By Request, where we had a lovely, lovely theme of sleep. So it was sleep, dreams, nightmares, you name it. We did it. It was lovely. Then on Sunday, we were gearing ourselves up, not with much hope, to be honest, because England were playing Croatia. They managed to win. I know, I was shocked as well. It's the first time ever England won the opening match of a European Championship campaign. We spent the rest of the day recovering from said shock. Do you know why I'm blaming this for what happened next? Because on Monday, where was Mike when the lights went out? Well, he was left screaming at the A-lady, to no avail. So the bridge broke between our bulbs and our A-lady, which means the bulbs work if you turn the switches off, but you know, really? How 1990s? So we needed to order some extra bulbs. So this time I said to Mike, I'm not playing around with anything that's cheap. Let's just go for the Philips Hue because they work, which means I don't have to worry about the bridge. They did actually arrive before Monday, but it took me to Monday to open it. No, only then to put Mike out of his misery, because he was still talking to the A-lady, asking her to turn the lights on and off. And she thinks she's doing it, but the bulbs think otherwise. So yeah, not the best start. Oh, that takes us on to Tuesday, and I'm wondering why. What can I do here? I've got something that's not right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip you over to there while I actually fix this, because I've got a dot on there that shouldn't be on there. And you know, I went through this and I took all of the dots off, and the dot was back. All right, let's get back to where we were. So Tuesday, very important day on Tuesday. Let me get across here so I can move. Oh, we had a birthday, and it should give it away. It wasn't me. I didn't have 6 candles. It wasn't Mike. He wouldn't have 6 candles either. But the lovely Lola did. She was 6 on Tuesday. She got presents. Talk about bone idle. She just kind of stuck her tongue out and said, you know, help me open these. And then I got the dirtiest look of, do you really expect me to actually hand open my own presents? We did. We didn't get anywhere. But once she discovered what was in them, she was more than thrilled, wasn't she?
She was.
And she's been playing with them ever since. To the point that when she'd stopped playing with them the first night, she was somewhat overtired and emotional. But she did absolutely love them. You can even see the dog gauze on the arm of the sofa. She's a lucky girl. And yes, that is her red blanket. No one else is allowed it. So, Wednesday arrived. Remember, we are still mid-holiday. And we wouldn't know what to do with a proper holiday, would we? You know, like a bikini beach thing. No. But by Wednesday, we decided we needed a little bit of help here. It was a holiday and we needed to enjoy it. Emergency supplies were needed. So Tesco's had come last week, and I think we'd done Asda as well, hadn't we, at some point? We decided on Morrison's. There is a reason for this. Morrison's ice cream is the best. Oh, that was nice. Quite sick afterwards, and I wasn't alone. No, the birthday girl's hangover, she overdid it to the point, look at all the treats she couldn't eat. We only have crumbs from the black treat that she did eat on the right, but other than that she was just in a prone position all day while she recovered. Oh, we don't do birthdays by halves here, we don't. Oh, which took us on to Thursday. Finally, a week after it arrived, I got round to editing the iPad Pro's arrival video. So Mike's got a link for that if you've not seen it yet. Had great fun with it. by comparison to how you used to set it up, it's a doddle these days. I just wafted an iPhone at it and it just worked. Oh, takes me back to the days when all Apple kit was like that and just worked. But yes, I did have great fun with that. Which took us on to today. Bad words were said today, weren't they, Mike? Oh, they were. Tesco should have been here at 7, shouldn't they?
They should.
Because the match was on at 8. What happened at 7? Nothing. They didn't show. They finally showed up halfway through the first half of the match, which luckily saved Mike from watching it because Scotland are playing fabulously and England are useless. So this was going to be one we were going to walk all over them. And I said to Mike, don't believe it, not for 1 minute. And that's not what's happening, is it? Have they kicked off again for the second half? And how are they doing?
Same score.
Oh dear. It's got draw written all over it, this, hasn't it? If we're lucky. If we're lucky, it has. And, of course, it's 2-show Friday. So we've done Marooned. We had a ball with Marooned. And now we're heading off into
Cheeky
after hours.
blighter.
Who's a cheeky blighter?
The little spider.
Little spider crawling on Mike's desk. Just think of it as a little extra with dinner, Mike. Right. We're going to start off with something that I think Tracy's going to like. This is an app for iOS. And it's been around for a long, long time. Let me know in the chat if you've ever used it. It does as the name implies. It's a clipboard extender for iOS, both iPad and iPhone. Now, there are a million of these around. So why is this one top of the charts all of a sudden? And at the point it became the #1 bestseller in apps, never mind in clipboard apps, in apps across the board, it didn't even have an option to purchase. The guy made money from it with adverts. And people were so taken with it that they requested that they could give him money. But why? So let me know if you use it in the chat. Have you ever heard of it? Because there are so many more that were much more well known until about 3 weeks ago, at which point this one just skyrocketed. So that's why I'm going to show you this one. So let's get everything working. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, hey. So I will move there and do that. You will see my desktop. Then we need to share the screen of my iPad. So let's do that bit. And fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Still fingers crossed. Don't do this to me. There we go. There is my new iPad. Never heard of Paste Keyboard. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. Oh, Mel is looking forward to Paste Keyboard. Use Copied for iOS and Mac. This one's got a slightly different idea with it. Copied is you copy on the Mac and you can access the same stuff on the iPad. This has a slightly different thing with it. Works in a slightly different way. It's very inexpensive. It's $2.99 if you want to remove the ads, or it's free if you don't care about the ads. So I've already got it installed. It is installed there. And I need to flick to this view. Fingers crossed. Let's have a look if that'll work. That was all right, wasn't it, until I move those. Let's have a look what I can do here so you can see what I'm actually doing. That's going to be tricky. Let's move them that way a bit. I think you can just about make it out. So if I go to that view, you will see what I am doing as well. But that should probably be moved up a little bit, shouldn't it? Let's move that up. And we can see the button. Right, so this is completely empty and I have not set this up at all. So what it does, it allows you to tap the plus button in the lower corner and enter some text that you would like to use multiple times. It's not much point doing this if you're just doing it once, but if you're going to do this multiple times, it's incredibly useful. So let's say that I want to sign off for an email. So I just put my name in, new line, and then I'm going to put my email address in, which I already have set up at system level to expand itself. So let's say I just want to do that. Also, at the moment, I'm out the office. I am currently out of the office because it's our laughable holiday on annual leave until, and I'm not going back till the 1st of July. Mike is, but I'm not. Right, so let's pop that in there. And then I would normally put something like, you know, I will be checking email, but less frequently, blah, blah, blah. But that is what I want. And at that point, I'm just going to save it in the top corner. So I've got that down there. That's my first one. Obviously, I can then add more to it. So if I wanted one that was for Mike, so Mike, and then Mike's email address, which I don't think I have a quick expand for. Let's do it the slow way. There we go. So I've got one for Mike if I have to sign something off for him and save. So these are all very well in here. You could come in here and you could copy them, and then you could go back to where you want to be and you could paste them, but that's the long way around of doing it. Now, the reason that this app took off, it literally went from nowhere, about 1,000 on the most sold apps up to number 1, is there was a video that was going around TikTok and people wanted to put a comment on this video with a hashtag. And they wanted to do it multiple times. And this app will do that, and it will do it free. And that's what took it to the top of the charts. So what we could do is, like I say, copy that and then go in another app and fiddle around. But there is a better way of doing it. So if we go into the settings and we go down to somewhere in here, never can find it, keyboards. So it's settings, general, keyboards. And when you go into keyboards, I've got 2 keyboards set up. I've got my English UK at the top and I've got the emoji keyboard. So if I'm in an app, so let's go into an app. And down here I've got extra keyboards. So I can tap this and it will take me into an extra keyboard, or it would take me back. That's what it means when it says keyboards. So in here you can add extra keyboards. So in my keyboards I've got 2. But what I can do is go in there and add another keyboard. So I'm going to tap Add New Keyboard. Now, there are third-party keyboards available. So it's saying here there is the paste keyboard. I'm not at all sure that that is actually the keyboard I want. I would have thought, oh no, paste keyboard, yeah, that will probably work. That's probably the one. Third-party applications are allowed to put keyboards in your system, but they cannot be automatically enabled because that's a way for you to be hacked. So you have to go in and you have to do this extra step. So all I'm going to do is add the paste keyboard. So now I've got 3 keyboards. The English UK, the emojis, and this paste keyboard. When I go back, my keyboards now say I've got 3 at the top. And that's it. I'm done with that. So how this then works, you go into any application. Could be email, could be Pages, it could be Word, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to use Drafts because it's easy. It's there. And what I'm going to do is tap on the keyboard. And it's saying you can quickly change keyboards. So I need to change the keyboard quickly. I need to go into the paste keyboard. Now, this keyboard doesn't look much like a keyboard. It's not. What it is a very quick way for you to access all the things that you put in paste keyboard. So if there's my email that I've got here, and I've typed my email and I want my signature, I just have to tap Elaine. And if I'd done that right, why did nobody tell me I hadn't done that right? Because then I'd have to go back into here, wouldn't I? And then make that 2021. I'll fix that. That'll show how we can edit it. But it's really quick to do that. And if I put some space in there and go back in here and then I want to put Mike, I can do. So the thing with this is, it could be swathes of text. It's not just like in my settings, I have a configuration where if I type EMA, it expands to my email address. But that's it. But with this, it could be acres of text, and you get to see it in here before you start fiddling around. And you've got the basic stuff in here with the bold italic underline while you're at it, and you can then just put more in. So if I wanted to go back and put me in again, then I can do. You do manage this, so let's get rid of this. You do manage this from within here. So if I go into my Elaine thing here, yeah, I've made a mistake there. So I need to take that back and to make sure that that says 2021 like that, and then save it again. And that will then fix that. So if no, we don't keep wanting this, go away. If I go back into here, and we'll just do a new one to get a completely new thing. Again, set that up to the paste keyboard. And now tap Elaine, you can see it's absolutely perfect because I just went in and edited it. I actually typed those things in, but there's no need to do that. So if you have text somewhere else that you would like to include into it, so I'm currently out of the office until the 31st of July, let's put in here, let's go back to a proper keyboard, and I will be checking mail, but replies maybe delayed. There we go. So now I want that as an entire signature. So all I'm going to do with it is select it. So make sure I've got the whole thing selected and do a copy. And from there, go back into the application, do another one and just paste that in. That's it. Got another one. Now with that one, I might need to, it's how you would distinguish between the bottom one and the top one. So top one, don't need that one anymore. So I'm going to swipe to the left and then delete. And then I need, with that one, no, I don't want to delete it. I want to go the other way. I need to tap edit and hopefully it'll let me move it up. There we go. So move it up to the top, come out of edit mode, back into where I'm testing it in here. Let's get another blank page. Switch to my keyboard, my paste keyboard. Tabulate, everything is in there. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. It does one thing and it does it well. Now, does it synchronize? Well, it kind of does, but it's not in the same way that the other ones do. So if we go back into it, look at the options we've got. In the settings, you can back it up for a start. So if you only have one device, you can back it up. So I could back it up the data, but I need to sign in with that. So I need to sort that out. But you've also got the option to sync the data, and you can sync it via Google, a Google account. So you could sign into Google and then do a sync with Google for backup purposes. The other stuff you've got in here, because this originated with like TikTok stuff, there is this option to automatically send, which only works on TikTok. So that's why it's there. It's the history of the thing. The remove ads option takes you through to a purchase page, which I've already done. So it was $2.99 and I thought this is good. I'm liking this. So I'll buy it. You've got instructions for how to use the keyboard. So it actually talks you through what I've just done, which is go to General and then go to Keyboard and then add a new keyboard. So all the instructions are inside the app if you can't remember it later. And what else have we got? You can send a mail to the developer. You can give them a review. Follow them on Twitter, follow them on TikTok, obviously, because that's where this thing started, or share it. It does ask you for permission to give you notifications. So the first time I did it, I said yes. I don't think that was a wise idea. I don't really need notifications, and the notifications you get are like, there's a new version, but I update via the App Store, so I'm not really bothered if there's a new version. I will find that out when I go and update. So I would probably turn the notifications off. And that's it. It's as simple as that. But it's doing such an important job. Because how many times do you want to build something up from multiple paragraphs and you end up with copy and paste fever? So this is very simple. It's very clean, very plain. It does one job and it does it really, really well. I never went down the text expander route, but I know many people did. That too had a keyboard that you could do exactly what we've done here with. And that would synchronize with your desktop. My problem was I couldn't get the thing to synchronize between two Macs. That was way before I tried to bring iOS into the mix. So I decided, and it's subscription, and I decided that just wasn't the way for me. $2.99, it's not subscription, it's just a flat price of $2.99 to remove the ads. But if you're happy with the ads, then it's completely free. And it just does the job. So I'm loving that. How about everybody else? Have we got any comments on that, Mike?
No.
Nothing on that. Oh, no. But you were so looking forward to it. Right. Okay, then. It's simple, but it works, and it works brilliantly. And I'm loving that. Right. So, shiny new iPad. Yes, for that. We'll be coming back to the iPad later. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But for the moment, we will come out of the iPad on here and get rid of that. There we go. So, let's head off into the next thing.
Deb says it sounds great.
Oh, yes, Deb's interested. Fantastic. Right, I need to get back into... Oh, you'll see my desktop already, so that's absolutely fine. Let's head off into here. Something new and shiny. And we do like new and shiny. Although we need to do something first.
Where's that breeze gone?
No idea, Mike. Why isn't this working? That would be good. There we go. Let's get rid of that and let's head off over here. Why is it not moving? Oh! I'm pushing all the buttons and pressing everything in the right place. There, right.
Stephen says he now knows what it might come in useful for.
Good. Oh, you see a use for it. Excellent, excellent. Right, let's get those cameras out of the way and look at something totally new, totally shiny. You don't really have to be using Evernote for this to have any use. What they've done is, Evernote traditionally is notes, and that's it. They have recently, i.e. in the last 6 months, completely rewritten Evernote from the bottom up. That is how come we got lumbered with Evernote 10. And when I say lumbered with, it's not the legacy version of Evernote. There's a lot of functionality missing. But they assured us that they were doing this for a reason. And the reason was they needed to completely reconfigure the code base to be able to build on it and move forward. So the reason that tasks weren't in Evernote 5 years ago, when they should have been, was that the code base didn't allow for it. So they lost a lot of staff, and long story short, the guy that took over is called Ian Small, and he took the hit, and for 2 years they've been recrafting Evernote. Now they've got this new code base, they can now start building. Now, in my opinion, put the stuff back that you lost from the last version before you start adding new stuff. We're not quite at that level. This is something that wasn't in the old version, but they're putting it in the new version. So let's have a look at it. Right, I have 2 versions of Evernote that we'll be playing with. So there's one. Why have you just flown over there? Let's bring you back here. Right. So this is Evernote 10. This is the new version of Evernote. I had to force download this version to be able to try the tasks feature. It's in what they call early access, which is basically beta. But the reason it didn't automatically appear for me, and when I say automatically appear, we're looking at... Where's the mouse pointer gone again? Mouse pointer totally disappeared. Right, there we go. Right, we're talking that bit there, this early access here. I was able to enable it, but I had to download this version of Evernote directly from them and manually update it. The reason being, I've got in my Evernote archive more than 10,000 notes. So the issue was, if you've got 10,000 notes or more, it's not going to automatically appear for you, but you can get access to it by downloading it. So that was the first thing. The second thing to think about is if you have got more than those 10,000 notes, which obviously I do, you cannot use this on the web. So let me know in the chat, how many of you use this on the web? Because when you look at Evernote 10 and you look at the version of Evernote that's a hosted one in a browser, they do look incredibly simple. And I was on this session and people were saying mine doesn't look like that. And ultimately, their problem was they had no idea they were using a browser. And I thought, how can you not know that Evernote's hosted in a browser? But they weren't using the app. So I can't get these tasks in a browser window using Evernote. But they are in here because I forced it to be in here. So what happens as soon as you install the version that is supporting this is you get this extra option in the sidebar that says tasks. And it also warns you that it is early access. It also adds a note. And this is the note it added when I installed it 6 days ago, which is things to do. So when you click on that, you've got one untitled task already. And it just says, you know, it's an example really. But it doesn't mean that all the tasks have to be in this individual note. Your actual tasks can be in any notes at all. And when you use the task-based features, they will be pulled through as needed. So it put this one page and it put me one task in it. But when I click over here, it opens up a little fly-out panel. And there isn't much to see at the moment, but I'll take you through it anyway, and then we'll create some notes and do it from there. But there isn't much to see because there's only one page, one note that's got any tasks in it, and it's this things to do note, which is over here. And there is the add one new task. So the new task is added into it. But this panel that flies out and covers up your notes is where most of the management of the tasks will actually happen. You can add tasks from here, so you have an option at the top to add. You can find a task by typing something in that's relevant to it or actually in the text of it, and it will filter out for it. You've got a filter system here. Now, it's saying I haven't got any tasks to do there, but there will be there when we start creating some. You've got a whole menu option for more actions and options, which we'll have a look at. And then you can look at these tasks by the note that they're actually in, by the due date of them, or whether they're flagged or not, which will all make a lot more sense when we've got some tasks in there. So, how I was starting, I added a completely new note. And this one was like, I'm going to call it weekly tasks. And then in here, you can start putting the tasks in. Now, there's a few ways to do that. You have the big blue plus button, which is where you can insert anything. So from the Google Drive thing to a sketch to a code block. And task is, in fact, it's the top option now that you actually add to this. So you can click that and it gives you a task. So let's say on a weekly basis, I need to write the after hours announcement mail. Bane of our life, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, and if my capitals were working, I swear this keyboard needs a good clean. Right, so there's the announcement mail. You could just leave it like that. It's a to-do item. Obviously, you've still got the checkboxes and stuff, but by making it a proper task, you get the option to set properties for it over on the right-hand side. We'll set them on this one and then we'll create another task and then move through it. So the first thing that you can set on it is a due date. It obviously has to be in the future, would make sense. So for me, I need to have this done by Wednesday next week. You can add a time if you want, and obviously it's defaulting to British summertime here. And if it's like a week from now, you've got shortcuts on the left-hand side, and that will just set it. So if it was next Monday, I wouldn't have to look at it and know that that was Monday. That's actually quite useful because as far as I'm concerned, the week starts on a Monday. And this does not. It starts on a Sunday here, which throws me because the Sunday is the end of my week. It's not the start of the next week. Never, ever. So if one of these buttons could do it, then I would use it because otherwise I'm looking at it thinking that, you know, the 22nd is Wednesday and it's not, but it's the third day. But then I have to go up and I think, no, it's Tuesday because it's starting on Monday. But this one is actually the 23rd. And then all I do is set a due date. And now it's telling me here that it's set to be due on Wednesday. You can go back to that and that will allow you to either delete the due date or change it. But that's the due date. The due date is separate from this reminder. Okay, and the reminder must be in the future. So the other one wasn't dimmed out, although it would make sense if it's a due date that it was in the future. But this one, it needs to be. So if I wanted a reminder on Tuesday, I probably wouldn't want it at that time. Possibly 8:30 is a good way to go because it's after Marooned. And that way I'll get a reminder that I need to do that by tomorrow. And add the reminder. So these little icons change as you start adding information to it. Then there's flagged, and flagged just means either yes, it's flagged, or no, it's not flagged. If you're going to use the flag, have the flag mean one thing. It's the same in any application, but I particularly remember OmniFocus. You're working through your tasks on your weekly review and you think, oh yeah, there's something important about that one, so you flag it. And then 3 tasks later, you're like, oh, I needed to see Mike about that. I'll flag it, that'll remind me. The flag really needs to mean one thing. Otherwise, why are you bothering? Seriously. If the flag doesn't mean one thing, you won't trust it because you won't know why you flagged it. Your brain will have to go through that cognitive process again of rethinking it and saying, why was this flagged? So just have the flag mean one thing and then life will be much easier. You can choose to delete the task from here. You've got your delete button. And you've also got these 3 dots. So on the 3 dots, that actually opens up the task. And in here, you can then change any one of these things, including So let's say after hours, and it'll be the next one. So it'll be 134. So I can edit everything in here. I could change the date. I could change when I want the reminder. I could add another reminder. So if I wanted to be reminded tomorrow, if I did it sooner, then it would be done by Wednesday, wouldn't it? How many times do we say that, mate? I'm still writing it on Thursday. But you can turn the flag on. This is where it is. So you could actually go to the note. Now you might think, well, it's in front of you. It's there. But this dialog box that we're seeing here, so this entire dialog box is the same dialog box irrespective of where you got to the task from. So I could have got to this task from this Tasks Early Access popover, which means that this needn't have been the actual note I was working on. So that is useful. It's a quick way to get to that actual page. Right, so we've got one. All right, let's go back and let's add another one. This time I'm using the shortcut key, which I do think is wholly logical, which is Command and T, and if you're on a PC, it's Control and T. So I also need an after hours reminder mail. So let's put that in as well. That's due for Friday, so it'll be next week. And I probably need to be reminded about that on Thursday, but again, we'll go for 8:30 in the evening. Be nice if a tab went into that field, wouldn't it? And I've got a reminder. Not putting a flag on it, don't need to delete it, and all that will do is exactly what we've seen. And done. Okay. Right. Now, those two tasks are in here, and we've not got tasks anywhere else at that point. So what I'm going to do is add more tasks. These could be anything. So anything that you would take a note about. Let me know in the chat how you use notes. It doesn't need to be an Evernote. It could be Notion or Roam or anywhere. How do you use a note? What do you think of a note as being? And what I mean by that is if I was putting a course together, I wouldn't have one note. I would have hundreds of notes, and I actually did that. So I'd have a notebook. So you need to think about where would you want to see these tasks? Bearing in mind that as soon as you put them in here, the one thing that I don't see in relation to this is if they're in different places, they're in different notes. I can't filter other than by note by the look of it. So do I want all the tasks for a course to be in like the course tasks? So if this was in a notebook for a course, then they'd be in here. It's the same no matter how you're doing it, to be honest. In terms of, you need to think before you start adding anything, how you want to discover these tasks. It seems really useful to have 20 notes and think, oh, I need to do that with this note and that with this note, and then move to another note and put more tasks on. But you could find down the line you're actually making your own life more difficult. You really do need to sit and think it through, just like the flag thing. I was just putting flags on stuff willy-nilly. No indication of why. And then when I came back, I thought, I wish I knew why I had flagged that, which is when I decided, no, it's got to mean one thing. It could be a follow-up, although in other task management applications, because Evernote, they've kind of tagged this on. It's like a Wallace and Gromit sidecar. It's not going to be as fully fledged as Things or OmniFocus or Todoist or any of the other ones out there. It's just going to be tasks that are inside Evernote. They have to live inside a note of some description, hence them adding this Things to Do note for you, because without it, you wouldn't even know where to start. So you really do need to think about what you're doing before you start, because you could end up with tasks all over the place. You would be able to find them, but it's just making life more difficult. So just think it through. So I think if I was doing a course, I'd have a notebook for the course, and I would have a course tasks note at the top. That could either be for all the tasks or the general tasks. And then I may decide to put, let's actually do it, shall we? Although that means trouble with the notebooks, but let's go do it. All right, let's make a new notebook for this course. So I actually have a course that I'm doing at the moment. So, should we have secret course project? It's a secret course. It's not secret really, but never mind. Right, so I've got this notebook in here. So if I go into the notebook, and then I start to add notes. Now, how would I add this? Well, if it's a course, I'm going to need the course outline. So the first thing I'd probably do is put the course outline together at the top. And then I'm going to need sections for the course. I would probably put them in as lessons. So I'd have a new note. I would go in there and say that's lesson 1. And doubtless lesson 1, welcome to the course, or an introduction of some description. And I would keep adding one of these for each lesson. So point I'm making is, where do you put the tasks? Do you put the tasks in the lesson? So what was my first thing here? It was all about Blue Yeti. So I think it was probably the Blue Yeti family was the first thing. So once I've got lessons in there and a course outline in there, if I need to do something with the Blue Yeti, I've got 2 options. I can either go in here and make a task and say research currently available Blue Yeti models. Now the thing is, they keep changing them. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Let me just delete something, crying out loud. Right, research currently Blue Yeti models. That is in relation to this lesson. Do I want to see the tasks in here, or do I want to see all of the tasks on a single note in this notebook? And only you can answer that. Depends how you're going to work. What I could do there is course tasks. And you can have both options if you want. You can go hybrid. So a course task might be research current video requirements, because they change every 5 minutes. Originally it was 1280, then it was 1920, and then it's like, we could do 4K, but don't make it too big. So I would need to do that. And that isn't something that would appertain only to lesson 1 or only to lesson 2. So it's a course task. It's a global task for this particular course. It would apply to all of the lessons. But something like research the currently available Blue Yeti models is only really relevant to this video. This is the one where I will be saying things about that. Now, the good news is, now we've got them in different places. And if we go back to our inbox here, we even had things in here as well. If you now go back to this tasks, it starts to make more sense. Or get overwhelming, depending on how you look at it. So what we've actually got, we have 3 different views here. We've got this shown by note. So there's the course tasks one. There we go. That's the Blue Yeti one. So that was lesson 2. This is the weekly tasks that's in the inbox. And this is the one that it created for us, things to do. And you can fold up each of those notes. I was looking at this and thinking, it really does depend on how people work. Now, I've seen people have notes that are like pages and pages long. I've also seen people that have really short notes and split them up. You could have an index to your course and maybe put them on there. There's so many different ways to do this. But what I'd say is have a real serious think about it if you're going to use it, and then stick to one. You could also see these by due date. Now, we didn't put any due dates on this one. But in here, we do have this research currently available Blue Yeti models. If I click on that, it brings up the same window that we saw before. And what I was saying to you about this dialog box is the same, and this go to the note page becomes relevant. It becomes relevant when you're not already on that note page, and we're not. But we could get to it straight from here by clicking that. Now in here, I haven't put a due date or anything like that, or reminders on it or anything else. But you could go in here and you could do that and then sort it out in that kind of way. So I'm going to put a due date and say, let's say by tomorrow, I really do need to know that. And then I can click done. And I've not had to leave the note I was on to be able to do that. That has then appeared in here and said it's due tomorrow. If I then go to by due date, it's tomorrow within the next 7 days, and tasks that don't have a due date at all. And you can also add new tasks from in here as well. So research currently available Blue Yeti models, and then I could add another task there. But note where it's at. Well, let's go get it in there first. Source images of latest Blue Yeti models. Right. Due tomorrow, that makes sense. Don't particularly need a reminder, not flagging it, but by default, it's put it in the note that it created. It created a note called things to do. This needs to be somewhere else entirely. So you have this move option. When you get the move option, it gives you your notebooks. So mine are in Para, Projects, Areas, Resources, Archive, and an Inbox. I don't know why the zero's at the bottom either. Oh, I wish they'd fix that. But in my secret course, I've got all of these. So if it's a course task, I could click there. But this one is actually pertaining to the Blue Yeti family of microphones. So I'm going to click on there and hit select. That has actually moved it without me having to go navigate my entire structure. I've said to you, I've got more than 10,000 notes. I think there's about 14,000. Some people say to me, oh, you can't possibly use Evernote if you've got that much stuff in it. Well, why not? It's all in the archive or resources or areas or projects. It's all filed. So it's where it should be. So my inbox is clear. I can create a new project just by creating a new notebook. I'm not bombarded. These notes don't jump up and down in front of me and say, give me some attention. They're all filed. So you don't really need to start from scratch with this. You don't need to clear out your Evernote or anything. You just don't see the stuff. And I'm able to navigate to just one particular note quite quickly, to be honest. So I'm going to create that. That will automatically appear up here. And it's in, because I'm in by due date, it's set to tomorrow. And I've got my first task that's due tomorrow, my second task that's due tomorrow. It also tells you just underneath it, so where it says due tomorrow, it's telling you where it is. It's lesson 2 in the Blue Yeti family. And that one is also lesson 2 in the Blue Yeti family. Then I've got my 7 days, which were the 2 announcement mails and reminder mails for next week. And then I've got this one that's just, you know, you need to do that at some point, but there's no due date actually on it. Then you have the third view, which is the flagged view. And it says you don't have any flagged tasks, which would be quite true. I do not have any flagged tasks. But it's very quickly to flag one. So let's say this, that one's important to me. So it's something that is a showstopper, and that's what a flag means to me. You know, these need doing today. So I just make it flagged, and then when I go to flagged, I've got one flagged task. But that's why it's so important that that flag, it'd be nice if there was different colours, and then they could mean different things. But that's why it's important that flagged means one thing, because otherwise you'll hit flagged and you'll think, yeah, I'll get all my important ones. Oh dear. And there'll be 50 of them and you'll have no idea why it was so important. And the one that really is important, that the flag to you meant important, that it didn't mean follow up or it didn't mean send that to Mike, you'll lose it. So I have that mean one particular thing. So we've now got a flagged task as well. Right. Have I shown deleting one? I think I have, haven't I? But if not, let's go and sort that out. Let's go into the course task, which we haven't got any of yet. What would I do there? I'd be looking to create a Scrivener file to track or create the course. Luckily, I've actually already done that. But say it's in there, and I then think, no, I don't particularly need that. Well, we know we've got the bin. You could even go into the details and you've got the delete task. So there's lots of different ways to actually delete it. Just hit delete and it will totally disappear and away you go. And I'm going to, in there, that had a task. It was an empty task. If I just put something in there and then press enter, it takes you in to be able to create another task. But if I think, yeah, I've done that now, but I only need these 2, I have created another task. This untitled task is a task. So never leave a blank one in or it will show up. So just delete it like that. So you're left with, you do have a new line and you can start typing on that line, but it's not created another task, which if we looked back at some of these, that is an untitled task. And when we go into the task management, it does have in the course task that there is a blank one and there is a blank one on here. And if we open all of these things to do, there's a blank task. So just be careful about adding that where you do end up with this, with it being blank. I'm also not sure about a things to do page, but that's the default. It doesn't mean you can't rename it or whatever. But because you can add tasks from anywhere, it does need to put them somewhere. They don't exist independently. They exist only within a note. So they need to have somewhere to live. You also have, when you're actually looking at your notes, so if we go into our course tasks here, and we say we do one of these, you've also got this tiny indication there, it is quite bright though, that you've got 2 tasks and one of them is done. So it's giving you like an overview of what's inside there without actually having to go inside and look at it. So when you come to find tasks, you use this task popover here, and you decide whether you're going by note, by due date or flagged. You can actually type this in here. So if I was looking, I know there was something I need to do with images, it will instantly filter it down, irrespective of where it is. It's looking for the file, the word that you typed, in this case, images. If that was something like Blue Yeti, you may find more than one. So I've got, and it highlights in bold the words you've actually looked for, which is grand. You've also got the ability to filter up here. And this makes it even more powerful, because what you can do here is, say I want to look for completed tasks. You can specify dates. So within there, either it had no due date, or it's something that I did in the last 14 days. It's something that's due in the next 14 days, or you can even go custom. You can even say where it would be located. So in here, I've got my inbox, which has got tasks in it, and my secret course that's got tasks in it. But you know, I've also got projects, areas, resources, archive, and a million notebooks in each one of those. And they're not showing. They're not showing because there's no tasks in there. So there's no point offering you that as a notebook to search, because there's no tasks in it. So it's quite intelligent in what they've done with it. And then you've got created by. So if you're using this with other people in a shared environment, you can look for the user that created it. So that's the filtering, which is quite powerful. And then you've got up here, where this is now allowing you, from within the tasks window, to create a new note. Because I think once you get into the mindset of, like, I'll just make some tasks, you forget really that, yeah, they belong in notes though, don't they? You're in task management mode rather than note management mode. So that might be something to think about in terms of, do you want to manage your tasks inside an application that is actually a notes application? For some people, they'll absolutely love it. Other people will be, no, I can't do that. I need it externalized. Would I do it? Probably not. I use things. I used OmniFocus for years and years, and about 8-10 months ago I switched to things. And I only intended at the beginning, when I thought I'm going to give things another go, because I'd tried it like 4 times and it's like, it doesn't work for me, leave it alone. And I did. And I thought, I need a way that is predictable to send something to a particular location. And I didn't care if it was Evernote, Instapaper, things, didn't care. Don't care. But if I want to read something later, I want to send it to one place. And I want to have a method of working to send that item to one place that is the same on iOS, it's the same on desktop, it's the same if I was doing it with a pen. The same workflow. And every application I looked at was slightly different. Oh yeah, that doesn't do this. That one doesn't allow an attachment. And I ended up with Things. And Things has a clipper. And it works the same on iOS, the Mac. There's a web version. It's fine. It's great. So I decided I was going to use Things just for read it later stuff. And before I knew it, it was working so well. I think because I'd reined myself in, I decided to use it for tasks and never looked back. Works great. I now don't use it for read later stuff. That now goes somewhere else. But would I put anything in here for a task? I might do. It would depend. This would enable you to put tasks. If you look at where we've got these are very close to the work that you'd be working with if you were creating that course in here. So to some degree, it makes sense to maybe at the bottom of these. So if we went to, let's go to the tasks. So not the course tasks. Let's go to the actual secret course notebook, which is a secret no longer. And course tasks are on that page. But let's say here, where I've got some of these, what if I put a heading of tasks down below? And you can make that a heading. There are headings in here like that. And I could then drag these things, or I'm hoping I can drag these things down into the tasks. And then I've got all my other information here. So, random information. Let's make that normal text. So random course information. But I know below it, oh, do you not put that line in? You really should. Divider. And then at the bottom of every lesson, I've got these tasks. And maybe that would be easier than managing it separately. I don't know. Not decided yet. I guess my biggest problem is, for this to work, you would have to be creating this course in Evernote, and I'm not. But I have done in the past, and I can see the benefit of having the tasks like that. But there's no particular way, if I've got tasks in lesson 1, and I've got tasks in lesson 2, so let's stick in there something to do. How do I pull these together as all belonging to the secret course? So if I go to my tasks, I'm getting all sorts up. It's only filtering because I put Blue Yeti. But I've got all kinds of things in here, including the weekly tasks and the things to do, and I don't particularly want that. And that's where this filter comes in, because what you can then say is only show me stuff that's in that course. And beautifully, it's also in here, lesson 1 first, followed by lesson 2, followed by the course tasks. How long that would stay manageable in that way, I don't know. I guess it could be done. If you're wondering where I'm actually creating the course, it's Scrivener. And Scrivener doesn't do tasks full stop. That's why it's managed outside of Scrivener. But it might be doable. I think it would depend on the length of the course and how complicated it was. But it would be a nice way to isolate the tasks for this particular project into this particular notebook, and then use this tasks panel there to manage them. Let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Hello, Carol. Just spotted Carol as I glanced at the chat. Let me know. Now, there was in here another thing that you could do. So let's go back into our inbox where we've got all of these random things in here in our inbox. Right. Let's go back to our weekly task thing here. And one thing to think about is, do I want to be precise and put the numbers in? And you think, well, obviously, yes, but I'm going to get a reminder anyway. If I choose to do that and I say, right, that's done and that's done, and then I come to my weekly review and I'm going to sit down here and think, right, I now need to think about next week. Oh, guess what? These are my weekly tasks and I need to do them every week. Okay, there is that to think about. So one thing you could do is literally just take the tick out and edit that. That's why it might be a better idea not to have the number in it, because then at the end of the week in the weekly review, all I actually need to do is take the tick out the box and change the date that it's due. So I could then say that one's going to be due on the 30th. And this one, which at the moment is the 25th, which is Friday, that would be the 2nd of July, and there's another month gone. Oh, lockdown does that to you. So you've got to think about things like that as well, that you might want to think about. Just practicalities of how that would be best used. I think I think it's manageable if I was making a short course. I'm not convinced how manageable it would be if I was creating 3 courses at once and I needed to focus on one and then focus on another, or have a high level overview. The high level overview would actually be more difficult. Whereas if I'm in things, I can flick between the tasks for course 1, 2 and 3 really quickly. I can even open multiple windows and have them lined up next to each other. But things is not cheap. I think it's about £50 for the Mac and about 20 for the iPad and 20 for the phone. Even the phone and iPad are not one app. I'd like it if they all were. You know, when you make one purchase and you're done. That would be great. But I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. So what do we think of that? Let me know. Oh, Carol's having trouble because she's on holiday. We're on holiday, one of our laughable holidays. We're waiting for a thunderstorm that may or may not appear at some point in my lifetime. Is the match over, Mike?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Same as it started.
So like I said, a draw. Really wasn't worth bothering them, was it?
No.
Oh, England, well, we're going to beat the Scots. Yeah, that went well. We knew that wasn't going to happen. But Scotland would need to win their last match, wouldn't they?
Think so.
Because they lost the first one and drew the second. So, never mind. Right. So Carol wanted to know an iPad app. It was Paste Keyboard and it's fabulous. You can use it completely free of charge, and there is an in-app purchase if you want to get rid of the adverts. But watch it back on replay because it's a grand app, that. I am loving that app. Right, okay, so that's Evernote. Who uses Evernote for notes anyway? I do and I don't. I do, but it's like an archive. It's literally a filing cabinet. So if there's an article that I've seen and I think that might come in useful in the future for me to refer to, or I want to read that in the future. So sometimes it's like things for Apple that are like, today it's mildly interesting, we all know it, but in 6 months it'll be like, oh, do you remember when X happened? Let me find that. So I capture a lot to Evernote, but most of it goes in the archive. And I will search for it later when I'm looking for it. It's very seldom do I come in here and make a note and then start working on it. The only exception to that was a course I was recently on. And what you needed to do was take this long article, probably 3 or 4 A4 pages worth of text. And they wanted you to highlight certain bits and bold certain bits. And I thought about Notion and I thought the highlight is shocking. You can barely see it. And then I thought of Rome and I thought, no, nothing goes in Rome. We might pollute it. Evernote will do. And I shoved it in Evernote and did that. So that's my use of Evernote. I did use it intensively for, I think it was 11 years. And then I moved to OneNote and then I moved to Notion. But pretty much my notes are now in Rome. But they're screened to within an inch of their life. There's no rubbish in Rome. There's the mantra, there's no rubbish in Rome. There isn't anything in Rome that I might be interested in later or stuff like that. It's either actionable today or it's not. And if it's not, then it might go in Evernote and I might pick it up from there later. But let me know. Oh, Deb thinks she's still got some notes. Debbie thinks she's still got some notes from 2007. I think in here, in Evernote, it actually tells you, doesn't it? Doesn't it tell you in your account information? Oh, which it's opened in another window. That's grand. Does it actually tell you? Let me have a look. Yeah, it does. Let's bring that on. There we go. I don't think there's any credit cards on it. It says that you've been a member since. So that was the week Evernote was released. And I created my account. Which is so funny because we look back. Evernote did exist before that. But it existed on Windows and it was a totally different beast. Totally different. It had a real Fisher-Price interface on it. But I have a setup sheet for how I set my Mac up the first time I needed to upgrade the operating system in 2007. And every time I look at this, I think, why wasn't Evernote on it? And then I thought, because Evernote wasn't a thing back then. So it does tell you, go back and check when you remember from. It does actually tell you that. Right, now I think I had one more thing on here. Yeah, the other thing is, I know many people don't like Evernote 10. I'm not a great fan myself. There is another version of Evernote that you can have installed. This is called Evernote Legacy, and we mentioned it a couple of weeks back. So Evernote Legacy, don't disappear over there. Bring yourself back over here and open up. Right, it's exactly the same things. It's your weekly task, your course task, and your things to do. So those notes are those notes behind it in Evernote 10. But you will notice this is the first feature that is not supported backwards. So all you'll get is the content isn't supported. It's a placeholder for tasks and it isn't supported in this version of Evernote. And I don't think it will ever be supported in this version of Evernote because they don't want you to use this version of Evernote. They want you to move to the new one. But there are still features that are not working in the new one, which makes me keep this legacy version installed. But I think this could explain why they don't want to provide this thing. They don't want you in Evernote Legacy. They want you in Evernote. So rather than take the time and take the features that people want from Evernote Legacy and put them in Evernote 10, they're adding new features, which is basically, if you want those features, going to force you to use Evernote 10. And then they don't have to be in such a rush to get feature parity between the two, because now it's reforked. Initially, we had Evernote 10 that was missing some features of Evernote Legacy, and that was it. But Evernote Legacy had everything, so there was a huge benefit to using it. But now tasks aren't supported. They're going in two different directions. They have two totally separate feature sets now. I'm still going to stick with have both versions and be done. The search for me on Evernote Legacy is great. And the other thing is I have audio files embedded in there. They're only tiny, but they don't play on Evernote 10. They say they've fixed it. I can assure you they haven't. It doesn't play. So I need both of these versions. And if you need support for older features that are no longer supported, then you're going to need both versions as well. Okay, let's head out of there. So let's lose all of that and head back into here. Oh, it was the freebies next. I wonder why this is playing with my mind tonight. It's literally not moving in there. The freebies is a good one. It's for the Mac, but if you're a Windows user, you've probably already got it. Who played Minesweeper back in the day? Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. When I saw this, it's totally free. There's no ads on it or anything like that. It's just the game. And I saw this and I thought, I've got to have that. I've got to go and try it. I get killed most of the time. I hit the bombs. But I have been known to actually win it every now and then. So if you remember, you are presented with like a grid on the left-hand side. And you need, and I do make it easy. I don't make it hard. No. You need to find where the bombs are and you hit those with the right arrow key, the right mouse button. And if you think it's a blank square, then you can use the left button. So I'll actually show it to you. But in the meanwhile, if you want to go get it first, Michael put the link in. Did I put the link in?
You did.
Oh, good grief. I'm ahead of myself.
Kim can't believe that you played games.
I played a game in the day. This one I liked.
And
I liked
Peter
this
loved it.
Right, let's go and have a look at it.
I'll put this link in.
Minesweeper. There we go. It's quite tiny. I only have it on the easy setting, and sooner or later the mouse pointer will come back. Right. So in essence, what you do, you would right click somewhere. No, you wouldn't. You would left click somewhere. So let me get that back to that. And that happens to me quite a lot. There's only 10 mines on it, and I can find them straight away. Which is not the way to play the game. Right, that number 4 tells you that of these squares running around it, which I didn't mean to click, right, 4 of them are bombs. So 3 in this corner and 1 at the top. So I would have been very careful with something like that. So let's start again. So 3 of them round here are bombs. I can't tell which, so I'm going to avoid it. And straight away hit another bomb. This is why I'm there all day. Now, can we tell from that? No, we can't. So I'm just going to try somewhere else and keep trying. What I'm looking for is hoping desperately that happens. That there's no bombs near these, so it clears them. And then I look at it and think, right, that's one, that's one, that's one. This one is only linked to 1, and it's that one. So that one isn't a bomb. That one isn't a bomb, but that one is. This one, there's 3 next to it, so the 2 there must be. That's 2, which means that isn't. But 3 of those are. Oh dear, now it's getting tricky. But that one isn't. And that one isn't. And that one isn't. And that one's linked to 1, so it's not that one. And that one's linked to 1, so it's not that one. Which means that one is.
How much are you practiced to make sure you win in the demo?
you can't. There's no legislation with it, trust me. But if that is 1, then that one isn't. But then we're stuck, aren't we? That one's 1, which means that one and that one isn't, nor is that one, or that one. That one is. That one isn't. That one isn't. That one is, which means that one isn't. Yay! Far too long, clearly is the answer to that one, Mike. Far, far, far too long. Oh, I love it. Come on, I love it. The other levels that you've got, the hard one is just like there's 40 bombs in a bigger grid. And you know, if you've got all day, there's 99.
This is like watching football, because you said yeah, and you're still playing here.
Let's carry on.
30 seconds behind.
That one hasn't. 2 next to that. Oh, this is tricky. They're quite right. That one is. That one is. That one is, so that one isn't. Oh, this is so tricky. And that's 3. Which means it's that one and that one. Which means it's not that one. Or that one. Or that one. Oh, I've never done this one. I'll be honest with you. I've never done this one. I've never been crazy enough to try this one. I must try that in the week. But there you go. That's how it works. Who's played it? Let me know who's played it. I need to split the screen here, don't I, with YouTube, and then I can see the chat. Let's see it. Let's see if it's picked me. to show myself. Oh, it has. That's amazing. Right, where's the chat gone then? Do I actually have to tap play? Oh, it looks like I do to see the chat. Awesome. So if I bring that back and split that down there. What do we want here? Let's have that one. And split that there. Hey, I can see the chat. Fabulous. Peter loved it. Yay! Kim's going to need a lie down because I'm playing games. It's the only one. Oh, that and solitaire. I need solitaire, don't I? What's that doing there? I've no idea what that is. Did it make some kind of video? Oh, I wonder what that is. I've got no idea. Right, we'll get rid of that. Ah, yes, I did play games. It is. Anyway, whoa, Kim, you need to play it just for a giggle. Give it a go, just for a giggle. I think the instructions are in there, but basically, if you know that it is a bomb, like that says 1 on this corner, so that's got to be, but none of the others that one's near can possibly be one then. So you get rid of them like that. You'll be fine. You'll love it. You will. You'll get as hooked as me. Carol played it in her Windows days. Exactly. Oh, hello, Brilliant Sigma. Will I do a Scrivener's tutorial one day? What sort of Scrivener's tutorial would you like? Is it a general one? Is it Windows? Is it the Mac? Is it iOS? Is it all of the above? Is it synchronizing? What sort of stuff is it writing? Is it for EPUB books like fiction? Is it for non-fiction books? I'm actually in the middle of using Scrivener, and that could be a good demo, but it's not for a book, which is typical of me. Oh, Scrivener, it writes the best books. Yeah, I'm not using it for that, but I could do. So let me know. Let me know. What was the other one I liked? Othello. I do love Othello, but I've not found a really good one that does that. I did have chess. I remember playing chess once. You know, on the Mac, there was a really good chess game.
I keep running that accidentally.
Is it still there?
Well, yeah, because when I do command...
Good grief, it is!
Yeah, when I do command spacebar for Alfred and then I attempt to type Chrome, if I type CH, sometimes it'll run chess.
No, not now. Oh, Game Centre, are you kidding me? I didn't know I was signed in. No.
And then it'll tell me that it needs to download speech recognition.
I did not know this was still here. I just about know how to move the pieces, but I'm not particularly grand with the thing. No, I never had anybody to play with, did I, as a kid? I was an only child that Mum never let out of her sight, and Mum and Dad didn't play chess. So that was me playing against myself then. I do remember that my uncle thought he was fabulous, and he taught my cousin, and my cousin challenged me to a game, and I'm thinking, you'll be fine, you know how the pieces move. You know, and he was 6 years younger and thought he was a grandmaster. So he started playing. So he gets to this point, and I'm looking at it, and I said, check. And I'm thinking, I think. And he looked at it, and my uncle looked over, and he went, no, it's not. I thought, oh dear. He said, it's checkmate. Well, my cousin, the pieces went all over the place.
Bad words were said.
Oh, he said some words that he would regret, trust me. I had no idea chess was still there. Well, who knew? Who knew? No, I'm not saving it. No. I'm not saving the state of play. Who wants to do that? I wonder if you can save the state of play of this. No, you see, if I cancel that, I'll have to go back and start again. I know, I'll have... Oh, there's one. That's definitely one. Oh, which means that and that aren't. Oh, you see me excitement, and neither of these. None of these can be either. Nor that one. That one is. See how I'm going? Oh, I'll get lost with it. No, leave it alone. I will put that out of the way. I'll probably have a look at it while Mike does his Excel. Play the King's Indian Defence. I have no idea about any of that. I just move the pieces. And it seems to work. Right, so that is where you can get that from. Who doesn't want to give that a go if you're on the Mac? When I found that, I just looked at it and I thought, oh, it's my Windows days. So it's a long, long time. It's 15 years ago.
Peter's challenging you to a game of chess.
Oh, you do not want me to... No, nobody wants that. No, I'm not good at that. There's things I'm good at and things I'm not. And that's up there with gardening. Chess and gardening. They're not skills to which I am interested in the slightest. Right. Are you ready, Mike? Can I cut to you?
You can. I'm just pressing record.
Right, well, I need to make sure that you're keyed up over here, because at the moment we're not looking at you. We're not. And I've got so many different screens going on here tonight that I'm not sure. There we go. Oh, I can see something that we're all going to enjoy. So let's hand over to Mike.
Okay, I'm going to talk about relationships today. Not of the human kind. Not of my women kind. No, I'm going to talk about relationships between tables in Excel with the ultimate aim of creating pivot tables. So what I've got here is I've got 4 tables, all related to the Unicorn Clothing Company. Did you know that there is a Unicorn Clothing Company?
Is there?
There is. There's several.
Is it clothes for unicorns?
No.
Oh, that's
No.
sad.
Yeah.
It'd be better if it was.
Yeah, so then I thought, is it okay to use the Unicorn Clothing Company in my demo? So then I thought, well, maybe I could do the Unicorn Tech. There is a company called the Unicorn Tech registered in sale, and a company called Unicorn Technology. Anyway, I'm going to run with this. It's just a demo.
Why don't you make it like MacBites in brackets after it? You know, like I think the people who put Line of Duty together have Line of Duty brackets Series 3 Limited.
Ah.
So there you go. Just open the brackets and put MacBites.
Or we could change Unicorn for Donkey.
Oh, we could. The Wee
The
Donkey.
Wee Donkey Clothing Company. Anyway, I've got here 4 sets of data. I've put them on the same sheet just so that they're all visible, and I'm not flicking between sheets, but they could be on separate sheets. So we have a list of orders for this year, and then we have the prices of our products. We have the name of the manager for each region, and we have the currency rates. So I'm assuming that the prices you can see they're in UK sterling, and I need to be able to display prices and revenue, total costs in various different currencies. Now, in my head, I can link the orders table to the prices table by saying that the values in the item column match the values in that item column. The column headings don't have to be the same. What's important is the data is the same. I can also link the orders table to the managers table, because I can say that the region column in there matches the region in there. However, I can't link the other tables together, which isn't a huge problem for what I want to do. I'm just saying that not every table needs to be linked together, and in many cases they can't be. If you've done any work with relational databases, then you'll understand the concept I'm talking about. And I did do a session on Access, I think it was last year, where I talked about relational databases. So if you've attended that, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I need to create some pivot tables, which I'm going to stick on this sheet here, which pull data from some of those tables, not necessarily all of them in one go, but from some of those tables. And to be able to do that, I need to put those tables into the data model. Because if those tables are not in the data model, if they just sit in the spreadsheet as they are, then you cannot create a pivot table from them. You'd need to create one table. So you'd need to have the managers' names here and the prices here, etc., etc. And that would just increase the size of this table, and you'd end up with a whole load of lookups to get the information you want. So to be able to do what I want, I have to take these tables of data and stick them in the data model. As I've said to you in the past, the data model is just a place within this file that can be used to store your tables of data as an alternative to storing them in the spreadsheet as they are now. The first thing to do if you want to get the data in the data model is make sure that your data has been converted into named tables, which I've already done. So for this first table, the table is called TBL orders. For this table, it's TBL items. For this table, it's TBL managers. And for this table, it's TBL currency rates. So I've just gone through and done insert table and defined 4 tables. So to get those 4 tables into the data model, I click into the first table and click on Power Pivot, add to data model. That copies the data from that table into the data model. The name of the table within the data model is the same as the name of the table in the spreadsheet. It's opened up the Power Pivot window, which I will now close, and then I'll rinse and repeat 3 more times. So Power Pivot, add to data model. So we now have 2 tables in the data model. Click in the 3rd table, Power Pivot, add to data model. And then the 4th table is the currency rates table. Power Pivot, add to data model. So I now have 4 tables in the data model. The great thing about the data model is it's virtually limitless in terms of how much data you can store. So you can have as many tables as you like, and each table can store millions of rows of data. Obviously here we've just got 4 smallish tables. One table's got just over 1,000 rows of data, one table's got 7 rows, one's got 3 rows, one's got 6 rows. Now what I might do in the real world is I might actually delete these tables from the spreadsheet. There's no point keeping that data in this file twice. Once it's in the data model, you can then use that data for building your pivot tables from. But before you can do that, you've actually got to create relationships between the tables. I just happened to glance at the chat and saw Rene saying he's played Word Feud. That was the one that my mum tried to get me to download on her Windows PC, and it turned out that it was only available for iOS. Never mind.
Oh, this is why the woman wants an iPad.
Yeah, well, she's got a bridge game now, hasn't she? Anyway,
do you mean bridge Tinder?
Bridge Tinder, yes, Bridge Tinder. Yeah, let's not go there.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to go into Power Pivot menu, and I'm going to go to Manage, and that will switch me back into the data model. And from here, I'll go to Diagram View. And this shows me my 4 tables. And as I've said, I want to link orders to items, and I can do that on item equals item. The column headings don't have to be the same. It's probably better if they are. Just makes logical sense, but they don't have to be. So literally just drag and drop. And as I said, if you're familiar with Access, you'll have seen that before. And I want to link managers to orders, which I can do on region equals region, because those 2 columns contain the same data. So drag and drop, and there we go. Currency rates can just stay out on its own. It's not going to be linked to anything. It can't be. There's no common column. What I tend to do then is just rearrange the layout of the relationships screen, just to give you a kind of visual representation of how everything links together. So it's like saying that the orders table is the main table. The orders are the main objects, and coming off those are the managers based on the region, and coming off those are the sale price, or the price of each item and how much it costs to make. And that's linked on items. So you don't have to do that, but it just visually makes it easier to understand your connections, because I've seen relationship windows where they're all over the place and it's just impossible to make sense of the links between the data sets. So that'll do. All right, so the next thing to do is to close the Power Pivot window and go to my pivot table sheet. So to create the first pivot table, which is going to be the number of orders per manager, and what I mean by that is look at the name of a manager. So let's just take Mike Jones, and out of these 1,100 and something rows of data, how many of those orders can be attributed to Mike Jones? Well, we know that Mike Jones is the manager for Asia Pac. So it's basically counting how many times Asia Pac appears in here. Same thing then for Bob and Sue. So count how many times Europe appears in here, and we'll have the number of orders attributed to Bob, and so on. To be able to do that in a pivot table, I go to Insert Pivot Table, tell it I want to pull the data from the data model, tell it where I want the pivot table to go, and then I've got the names of the 4 tables which is pulled in from the data model. And I want to start by grabbing the names of the managers and putting those in column A. So to do that, I'll need to go to the managers table and drag manager into rows. And then to get the number of orders, I can actually choose any of these columns as long as each column has got no blanks. And I know that none of those columns have got blanks. So I will choose, I think the logical one to choose is order ID, which I know is from the orders table. So drag order ID, there it is, drop that into values, and because order ID is text, it'll default to account. So that's now showing me how many orders there are for each manager. The next pivot table that I want is I want to see the total revenue and total cost for each one of my items. So the different clothes that we sell. So basically, I want a list of the items, and then I want the total revenue for socks, the total revenue for suits, total revenue for shoes, etc., etc. The problem I've got here is I'm going to have to calculate that. I've got the quantities for each order. I've got the sale price. So what we'd say if we were doing this in our head is for that particular order there, that generated 27 times 5, because it's 27 pairs of socks. Socks sell for £5 each. 27 times 5 is whatever it is, 135, I think it is. And that would be the total revenue for that order there. And then I want to know, well, what did it cost us to make those socks? Because then we'd have the profit. And that would be 27 times 3, because it costs us £3 to make a pair of socks. But I don't want to do that myself. I don't actually even want to see the revenue and costs here as part of this table. I want to store those in the data model, and then I can just drag them into a pivot table. So I will switch to the data model, and I will create a new column in the orders table, which I will call total revenue. So that's the total revenue for each order. And the formula for that, as I said, is going to be the quantity for this order, for this row, multiplied by the sale price, but not just randomly pick one of those sale prices. It'll be the sale price for the item for that particular order. So to do that, what I need to do is use a formula. Now this formula is a DAX formula. If you remember, DAX is the language that you use to create formulas within the data model. I guess you could say what I'm about to show you is the equivalent of a VLOOKUP, but it's only used in the data model because the data model doesn't actually support a VLOOKUP. It has its equivalents, but it doesn't use VLOOKUP. And the function you want is the related function. So equals related, open brackets. And what I want to say is I want to say the sale price from the items table multiplied by the quantity. And that's the quantity from here. Okay, so the sales price from the items table multiplied by the quantity. Do we have to say where item equals socks and the other item equals socks? No, we don't, because I defined a relationship. So because I created a relationship between this table and the items table based on item equals item, it knows to go and fetch the sale price for the socks. So if I press enter, there's my 135, and it just does it for each one. Okay, so it knows to go to the items table and multiply the quantity by 5 because it's looking at socks there and it's looking at socks there. That's the beauty of defining a relationship. You can then just use the related function. So let's do another one here. Let's call this one cost of goods sold. So how much did it cost to actually produce the 27 pairs of socks, the 26 suits, the 48 pairs of shoes, etc. Very similar function. Equals related, and it's going to be the cost price multiplied by the quantity, spelt correctly. And again, you don't have to tell it where socks equals socks, where suit equals suit, where item equals item. It will pick that up from the relationship. And then to work out the profit is just going to be revenue minus cost of goods sold. So equals total revenue minus cost of goods sold. So once I've done that, I can come out of here, go back to my pivot table sheet, create another pivot table, insert pivot table from the data model. And for this one, I'm going to have a list of the items which I can pull out from the items table, drag that into there, and that gives me a list of items. And then I want the total revenue, the total cost, and the total profit, which are coming from the orders table. And there they are, they're the 3 columns I just calculated, so drag those in. And that shows me for each different product that we sell, total revenue, total cost, total profit, with the grand totals at the bottom. Now, what I now need to do is I now need another pivot table that again shows a list of products. In fact, I could actually add it to this pivot table. I could add another column to this pivot table, but I want to show the profit in euros. Okay, the profit in euros. And the problem I've got is that there is no relationship. If I go back to the data model, there is no relationship between the orders table and the currency rates table. If I go to the diagram view, you can see that the currency rates table has no connection to the orders table. So we can't just take the total revenue and multiply it by the currency rate for euros. And there's no way I can connect these two tables now. You'll also notice those 3 columns I created have been added in to the data model as well. So if you have no connection, no relationship, then there is a function that you can use, and that function is the lookup value function. So I'll go to my orders table and create another table, which I'll call, another column, which I'll call profit EUR, as in profit euros. And to calculate the profit in euros, it's basically take the profit for each row and multiply it by the exchange rate, but it'll be that exchange rate. If I wanted to know the profit in US dollars, it would be taking the profit and multiplying it by that exchange rate. So you're looking at the exchange rate. The appropriate exchange rate in this case, it's this one, so it would be EUR. Okay, so how do we do this calculation? We'd be taking the profit, so take the profit and multiply that by lookup value, Then it would be the rate from the currency rates table, where the currency equals EUR. So it is actually very, very similar to a VLOOKUP. So take the profit and multiply the profit by that. Okay, so lookup value, TBL currency rates, rate, currency equals EUR. Put a tick in the click the tick, and that will give me an error. Why does that give me an error? What have I missed out there?
Have you gone brackets blind?
I could have gone brackets blind, but I don't think I've gone brackets blind. Let me do that again, because it worked in rehearsals, as they say.
It always works in rehearsals.
I've even got it written down, so maybe I've not typed it in correctly. Equals profit multiplied by lookup value, currency rates rate, comma, currency equals EUR. No, it doesn't like that. Okay, let's try one other thing here. Try TBL currency rates. Equals. It's not equals. My mistake. I can't read, can I? It's comma and then EUR.
Happens to the best of us.
Ta-da! There we go. Right. Yeah. Right, so I will close this down. And there is profit EUR, and what I'll do is I'll actually create another pivot table. So do that over here. So insert pivot table from the data model, and again I will have a list of the items, and I'll also have from the orders table, I'll just show profit, which is actually profit in UK sterling and profit in euros. So there we go. So all it's done is it's actually multiplied that by that there. But it's done it for each row and then summarised them. Okay, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that case, I won't rinse and repeat. I will hand back to you.
Right, okay. Let me press a button. Let me press a button and the magic will happen. They loved yours. Still having problems with this moving. But never mind, we'll get there in the end. Okay. Right, you should be seeing nothing at the moment. While I head over here. Hopefully you'll then see something. Yay! Right, some stuff in the chat first before we go any further. Brilliant Sigma says, for the Scrivener Mac tutorial, one for academic writing and integration with Zotero, and stuff would be a brilliant watch. It's so complicated to use Scrivener, but you can't stop using it. Loving that. Actually, there's a funny story about that today, isn't there, Mike?
Is there?
Oh, yes. Mike has set up a Scrivener file and then said, have I set this up right? So I went to have a look. Shall we do the short version? No.
It wasn't.
No. So I said, no. All you need to do is this and this and this. And then it was like...
Ninja stuff.
Yeah. And then at the end I said, so now you've got a template folder and you've got an automatic bookmarks folder, and then you need to put that there and that there and change the icon. Set the defaults to that. And then I said, right, so you're okay with that? And he went, yeah, you've just blown my mind. But you can use the file. It's just the setting up of the thing. Right, Mike will take a copy of that and it will appear in my to-do things.
It has.
There you go, see how fast he is. Right, and we're loving the wee donkey as well. Right, okay. Splitting a PDF, quick action. This was discussed a while back, and I think the first time we talked about it, it was to do with me doing a demonstration of the bingo cards. But this was pre Affinity Publisher being able to do bingo cards. So we had to piddle around with Word, which is never good. On any level, it's never good piddling around with Word. But now we've got Affinity Publisher. So this was what happened when we did the bingo cards, which was I have multiple files This is actually the output. I think the other one was somewhere else. Let's go back a bit and keep going back. Right, this was the data that I had. So I've got in here, let's do sort by kind, and you can see I've got multiple Affinity Publisher files. I have one per colour. It was easier to do that than it was separate them any other way. So that's why I've got multiple files. So if I just open up, shall we have the orange one? Let's just open up the orange one. All the files were the same, apart from this was a derivative. So I have one source file for this. And all of the branding is in there. So it takes a while to load. There's a lot of pages. But we have the black branding and the white. And yeah, they are there. Trust me. There you go. There's the red and the orange and the blue. Go on, you can do it. You know you can do it. Come on, show us the purple one. They are there. There they are. So all of the branding was in one particular file. And you know if you do a data merge, you then end up with a new file. And that's what we're looking at. I did a data merge and we've ended up with the orange file. And there are pages and pages in it, 613 pages in it. So from here, what I did was I created a PDF. So exactly the same way you would do this in any other way, which is you bring up the file export dialog. And you can see the poor thing's struggling. There was a lot of pages. Didn't struggle as much when I wasn't expecting it to broadcast live and record twice and all other kinds of magic. Eventually we'll get there. But it's a standard export thing anyway. So all I chose was PDF because you can export to graphics and things. Ultimately I was going to need a PDF. This is not looking good at all, is it? Let's get that out of the way while we look at it. So what I ended up with when I did that was these PDFs here. So I will endeavour to show you the orange PDF, fingers crossed. Right, so that's the orange PDF. Now, the good news with this is I could export one of these individually. So if you happen to have this, what you could do is grab a page and all you need to do is drag and drop it out. And you will then get page 7 of the orange PDF. But that's a bit long-winded. There were 5,517 of them, if you remember. So we discussed ways to do it. And if you happen to have Acrobat, there's a way to do it. But if not, then you really need to look around for an app that can actually do it. Or roll your own. And that's what we're doing today. Today, we're doing a roll your own. I'm going to shut Affinity Publisher because it's getting very upset with its little self. It's not loading it in at all. Oh dear, might have broken it. Let's do the activity monitor thing and shut it down. If I could even see the activity monitor. Oh yes, it's using 100% CPU, so let's not have it doing that, shall we? Or it'll all start buffering. Right, it's gone. It's gone and it's all quiet. Right. So I had these PDF files. They are now in my data folder for today in my bingo cards. There they all are. And I need these exploding, so I have 613 for each colour. Right, I'll show you how I did it first, and then I'll show you how I did it. So that all I need to do to make this work is right-click on one of these files. And there is an option in macOS, which is Quick Actions. And on the Quick Actions, you have the ability to mark up this file. That will just open it in preview and let you mark it up. And there's a split PDF option. Don't go looking for that yet, because it won't be there. You have to roll your own to make that happen. I was wondering about Johnny, because yes, this was why we have 613 bingo cards. But all I need to do, if the option is there, and like I say, you have to make it yourself, is just hit that option and let it go away with itself. And in your menu bar at the top, up there, we actually have a little cog saying, yeah, I'm working, leave me to it. And what it's doing is it's iterating its way through that PDF file and making individual PDF files for every page that it finds in there. And that isn't stressing the system that much, and it's actually finished. So it works. You've actually seen it work. We just need to know how to create the magic code that makes that work. So can I actually get these all in one folder? What I did was put the PDF in the folder first. There's a lot of files, isn't there? Do you know what would be a lot easier with this? Just changing the view. because I have that view all the time. That's much easier. Right, there's yellow page 1. And as I whip down, there is yellow page 613. And then all I need to do is put them in a new folder. And these are the yellow cards. And that's it. Okay, so yellow cards. Right, but how do we make that work? Well, the way it works is you need to use Automator. But I will lead you through it by the hand, so it won't frighten anybody. Right, Automator. Automator will open and it will look like that. So if you've never used Automator before, do not fear. That's what you get faced with. You need here to choose what type of document you want to create within Automator. Now, most of the time at the beginning, you'll probably be following along with a tutorial that you found online, and that will tell you which one to do. But it's fairly obvious given that I've said it's a quick action and we're running it from a right click with the quick actions. So it needs to be a quick action. The other options you've got are folder actions. So a folder action will run based on something happening to a folder. There's a workflow that you can actually run. You could make an application which you can run independently of anything else and then it will do things. You've also got the ability to create plugins for print commands, calendar alarms, the image capture plugin, or even dictation commands. But we're going for a quick action. So double click and choose that. And that takes you there. Let's get rid of these bingo cards because we can see through them and they're very distracting. Right. It looks terrifying if you've never done this before. But all you need to do is fill in the blanks. Fill in the individual bits that you need. So the very first thing you need to do at the very top of here is tell it, right, this workflow that you're about to create, what does it receive? What are you passing to this and saying to it? So think of a silver platter. What are you putting on that silver platter and handing over to your script? And it says automatic text. But when you look at it, we've got all of these different types. And we know we want to extract PDF pages from PDF file. So it's going to be PDF files that we're handing to it. And where are they coming from? And they're coming from Finder. So you choose Finder from the drop down. And then it says the input is. And the input is the entire selection. So it's whatever you hand over. Okay. Then you need an image. And the image that I picked, all you're doing here is choosing an icon. This icon will be shown in your menu. So I think the one I picked was documents. It says it was documents. Documents. I just saw that. Where were you? Documents. But all that's going to do is like give the command that you're going to write an icon. So if we look again at the PDFs, so let's bring that on and have a look. If I right click on there and I quick action, it's using the document icon. So that icon we're seeing is what we're choosing right now. So I pick documents, but you could pick anything you like. So if there's something that makes more sense to you, that was the only one that made any sense to me, given what I was doing, to be honest. I thought I could do with a much bigger selection. Although you can do choose if you've got one. So I just picked documents. And then you can choose a colour for it. So you could actually have that red or purple so it stood out, whatever colour you needed it. I decided to make it look like a built-in function and do it that way. Right, and then you need to start building it. Oh dear, now things need to happen, don't they? Oh dear. So the first thing you need to do is set the value of a variable. So in here where we can search, all right, if we put set value, it shrinks it down, it looks through it and filters it for a value. And I can just drag and drop that over there. And what I need to do is give it a variable. So at the moment it's saying new variable. And I'm going to give it a name. So at the moment it's just storage, and that's not great. Let's say what it is. And it's the original PDFs. Or PDF actually, but anyway. And I don't need to worry about what value that is at the moment. All I'm doing at this point is saying, when I pass something to you, we're both going to refer to this as original PDF. This actually reminds me of when I was at college, and we were doing a thing about language, and there was this lad, and he was so straight as a die. And we were all saying, well, why is that a bus? Well, it's a bus because we all agree it's a bus. So everybody else in the room said, yes, now it's a cabbage. And he's looking at us like, no, it's a bus. And we went, no, because we've agreed that in our world, we're referring to that big red thing as a cabbage. And he just looked at us and said, you're absolutely barking mad, and walked out. So it's a bit like that. We're telling our quick action that when we say original PDFs, let's all talk about it and call it the same thing. That's all we're doing. We're just defining a name, and then we will pass some to it. Then we need to think about the next thing we need to do. So once we've agreed what we're calling the file that we're sending to it, we then need to run an Apple script. So we put in there run Apple script, and that allows us to drag and drop in a placeholder to put the script. Now, I happen to have the script, and I will share this completed thing with you. It'll make life a whole lot easier. But I've actually got what I need to type in there. So I'm just going to type it in and whip you through it. And yeah, we can see it all. Right, all it's saying is when this is run, take the input and parameters. So this is all the stuff that we've created at the top and the values here. And it's saying set the path list to, and that's where it's coming from. So when we've got our file and we pass the file into it, the path list is where this file actually is. And then it's saying repeat with the item number from 1 to the count of the input. Now the input is the number of pages in the file that we would like it to extract. And then you're telling the application system events to, and then the middle bit, which is that line there, is what to do. Right? Which is take out the path of each individual page and then put it where we need it to be, in essence. So we don't need to worry about the exact words of it or typing it all in. I can give you this as either plain text and you can build it yourself, or I can give you the entire action when we finish with it. But we're not finished at that point. We still need to do something at that point. So we go back to our variables up here where we're looking for all of the stuff we've got in the library here, the actions and things down here. We need one of these. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of them. So the next one we need is also a variable. We need to set a variable. So we can either put in variable or we can put set variable. So we've got a get and a set. A set sets the value of the variable. A get reads it back. So if anybody's done any programming in BASIC from years ago, you'll know that you can say, my string equals hello world. Print my string, and it says hello world. That's a set and a get. The first one sets the value of your string, and the second one gets the value of your string and puts it on the screen. So a set and a get. At this stage, we're setting it. So we need the set one. Again, just drag and drop that on. Right, it already knows that we have got a variable called original PDFs. But that's not what we're looking for here. What we're doing is creating a new variable. And this one is the container path. Now, this is what enables it to unpack to where we actually are. So it doesn't put it in a single place and we have to go and find it. It's going to do it exactly where we are. If we put in container path and done. Then we need to get a variable. So we've set it further up. We now need to go and get it. And we have get here that we can drag and drop that in, and we're putting that on the bottom. Why are you not doing this? Come on. This one is a get, and we want it underneath there. Why are you showing me a plus and then taking it away from me? I can drop it somewhere else if you like and move it, because it does need to be down here. And if you don't want to do it, I'll do it by moving that one up. So a set followed by a get, but the get is the original PDFs. So we don't want that one, we want that one. Once you've set these variables, it's really easy to get the value because they'll show in the list. The old way of doing this was you had to type everything. And how many times do we mistype things, Mike?
Many.
Oh, and then we have to go in and fix them and find them. So it's a lot easier to just choose it from a drop down. And then the last thing we need to do is say, right, now you know where the files are, and now you know what I want you to do with them, and where I want you to put them, why don't you just do it? So luckily for us, up here, we actually have a split PDF function. It exists at system level. And all we need to do is pop that one at the end. And it's not letting us pop it at the end, is it? Come on. Maybe if I select the last one, it will. There we go. So what it's doing is I had that selected, so it was putting it underneath. But if I have the bottom one selected, it puts it underneath that. Right, this is where I was trying to imply to you what would happen. You need to tell it where to save it to. And the problem is, if you say the desktop, then it will always go to the desktop, and that might not be where you want it. I actually want it in the path where the original file is. So you saw that with the yellow one. So in here, in the drop-down, you can hopefully say other. No, I don't want a path. I actually want to choose in there, save the output to the container path. I don't really want a new variable. I want container path as a variable. So why isn't it letting me choose that? Let's say container path and see if it'll do that. But I don't want the path on there. That's not what I want. Why is it not doing that? This is not even looking like it should be looking. Now we've got path, but that's not what I want. So no, let's edit that. I don't want path. I want container path, which should be the container path we have above. So that goes in there. The output name is the same as the input name, so we want them with yellow on them. And it will add a page number on the end indicating which page it actually is. And that's all we need to do. So we've done everything we need to do. We've set it up at the top. So the first thing we've done here is set it up in terms of you will be expecting a PDF file. It'll be coming in Finder. This is the image I want you to use. I want it to be black. I'm setting up a location of the original PDF. So that's my variable is original PDFs, and that's what it's expecting. This is what I want you to do with it in code. Down here, it's setting a value and then it's reading a value in. And finally, it's doing the job and it's saving the output to the container path, which we specified elsewhere. That's it. We're done. Now, at this point, this isn't runnable. It's just inside Automator and it needs to come out of Automator and be put somewhere else. So if I go and do a save, and I will put this, if it'll let me put it somewhere, I will put it somewhere. But this is going to be split PDF. And the name that you specify here is what you will see in the menu. So I'm going to put demo because I've already got one of these. You've already seen it working. So I will do that. And it has saved that. But where did it save it? Because it didn't let me specify anywhere. If I hold the command key down, and if I click that, nothing happens. If you hold the command key down and click that, it will give you the entire path, telling you where that actually is. So it's inside my user folder, library, services, and there it is. So if I click on services, it will actually open that up. And these are the services I've got. This is the one that I've used and is working, and this is the demo one that I've got there. This is now two things. It's a quick action that will run as and when, but it's also the source file. So if I wanted to open up this one and edit it, I could do. And I actually have that open on the other screen. So that is a quick action that was already pre-configured and all the rest of it, but you can actually open it and edit it if you need to. So if you want to make changes to it, it's not just the action. Sometimes when you're working with code like this, you compile it and you can create something completely new. And some people at that point decide to delete the working file. Don't do that. In this case, it's one and the same. And that's all we need to do. If we go into our system preferences, in there, where have you disappeared to? Right, we should have in there quick, and that'll be in our extensions. So down here we have, where are we? Quick look. No, it's not quick look. It's in there. These are our quick actions. So it has already added that because of where it is in the file system. I didn't need to add it. It added it itself, which was what happened with this one. These other options you've got, rotate and markup and create PDF and stuff, these are system ones that are built in. This HowderSpot one was installed by HowderSpot, and these two I've created manually, and that happens automatically. You need to know about that in case you're doing what I'm doing, which is you end up with a demo one and you need to get rid of it. So one, you need to know where it is, and two, you need to know in the system preferences, where to go to deal with it. And that's where you would go to deal with it. So we'll leave that out of the way and we'll get that out of the way. It should run even if it's open. And what we will bring back in is this. Oh, let's see if it works. Because there's always bracket blindness, isn't there, Mike?
Yes, I have bracket blindness.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
comma blindness in
Comma
my case.
blindness. Right, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to make a new folder with it. And that one was white, wasn't it? Right, just because it makes it easier to sort it out. I have one file. I right click on it, and in my quick actions I've now got the original one that I had and my demo one. Let's see if I did my demo right and if it'll do anything. Is it even thinking about it? Or does it not like the fact that it's open? Oh, it's done it. It's done it. It's done it in the wrong place. But it's done it. I didn't think I saw the right thing there at all. So no, it's done it in the wrong place. But if I just run the one that we know is working, before I show you what it's done in, and you laugh yourself silly. Let's go do the quick action, and let's do the one that I know is 100% perfect and works. And it's putting them there. What the other one did, I didn't see when I used that set option. And I have updated the OS since, so it could be that. I didn't see an option. It said do it to the desktop, and even though I told it to put them somewhere else, guess what it did? Put them on the desktop. So it's working. It's just putting them on the desktop, not exactly where I need it to do. So I would need to go in and tweak that slightly. Oh no, I've got all those files on the desktop now. But it is actually working, as you can see. So it's a built-in thing, but you need to be careful with it. Now, the best way that you can do that is if we go into where we had them. So we had them in services here. I won't send you the demo one. I'll send you the one that's actually saving to the right location. But if I sent you that, which is a workflow, to make it work on your system, what you would need to do with it is to put it in your user folder, library services. You would need to make sure in your extensions that there was a tick next to it, and then you are good to go. Oh, I love a good demo where it's insisting on putting it on the desktop. Kim, I don't believe it. I don't believe your desktop looks like that. But that was one thing that we looked at for a long time, and I actually had the need to do it because what I was doing was just literally taking out 1 or 2 pages. And for that, you can drag and drop it. But for a job like this, it became the final step the night before the keynote. I mean, probably it was the morning of the keynote by the time I'd finished. So I actually put together the split PDF thing. I just need to know why it is not letting me use the container path for that. So it's in here, and it's where it's talking about the container path in here. And when I go into it and I edit it, it's actually got desktop underneath it. And I don't want desktop underneath it. So I'm wondering if that's exactly what I had in the other one. If I do the edit on that, it's absolutely fine. These things are identical. I swear they are identical. So there's one. It's got these variables at the bottom, but it's the same. So save it to container path, and when I click on that and I go and edit it, it's got desktop underneath it, but I've said container path, so it's going to ignore it. Only it's not ignoring it. So it's working in one and it's not working in the other. Oh, gotta love this. Kim is going to use it. Excellent. So what I'll do with this is I will wrap up the quick action that I've already built, and I will get it to you with a set of instructions of how to install it. So I'll put it on Slack. Might also put it in the email. But it is actually as simple as that. If the thing's already written for you, it's just a matter of putting it in the right place and then making sure that you've hooked it up to the interface so it runs. So that's the place it needs to go, the services folder. And then it's there and it's available for any file that you want to work with at all. So it should do it in the right folder. So let's get back to the black one and we'll make another new folder. Where have we gone now? New folder. Black. Open that up. Right click. I'll choose the one that I know is working. And it just expands it. It doesn't even take that long. When I remember the nightmare we had the year before with the Word one Word nearly died a death, and we were only handling 613 that year. This year I was processing 5,517, and it probably took less time. But I will guarantee you, if you try doing this from scratch, there'll be some kind of issue and you'll have to troubleshoot it, which I did with the original. But once I got everything configured, it was absolutely fine. And it's just having a mood tonight, isn't it? But you've seen it and it absolutely works. And that is how you do it. So hopefully that is something that you will find useful. I think Jonathan will be watching in the morning, catching up. I'm not sure if Jonathan didn't have like an application that he ran and then passed the thing to it, but I think it's probably faster if you you know, I said you could make an application at the beginning. It's like a droplet. You drop the file on it and it does something with the file, but to actually have it integrated into the interface with the quick option is probably even faster. So I will make sure that that is there. Give me a couple of days, because you know, holiday. Yeah, another holiday. Right, now I need to get rid of that lot, don't I? Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to sort that out, but you know, I've got magic button. That's what you need, Kim. You just need a magic button and then everything's fine. If you're wondering what that is desktop curtain. So all I do is use the magic button. There is a shortcut key, which is Control Option Command and the equals sign, and everything hides. And you get to say, you know, what you want that to actually look like. So I just use the short key on, off. Isn't it easy? Then everything's fine. And I can move along. Okay. File management in Alfred. We are back on to our macOS Finder series. Let me know in the chat if you knew about file management in Alfred. This one is a classic. There's a lot that you can do. There is a real lot that you can do. So let's go have a look at Alfred for file management. And this is something that I do all the time. There's lots of different ways to work with files. So first of all, I don't know if you're aware, but inside Alfred, if you just bring Alfred up and you type something like preview, you can use the right arrow key and it will open up extra menus. And from here you can see the recent documents, or you can show the package contents, you can open the app, you can open something with it, and so forth. So all of these actions here are controllable by you. To do that, you need to go back into Alfred, but go to Alfred itself. And inside, it's opened on the wrong screen, but there we go. Inside Features, and choose Actions. And inside there, go to File Actions. And this is what determines what is on that menu for you to work with. The only one I have turned off is Open the Terminal here, because I'm never going to use it. I am not using that. So all of the others I might use, some more frequently than others, but they are there for me. And that's where you decide what is in this Actions menu that we are about to use. Back in General, you can see that you've got Show Actions, and it's when you show the actions. So there is a tick next to this little arrow, and that's why I said to you, I use the right arrow to move across to the actions. You've also got the ability here to tab across and use the Control key. So this is actually explaining what all of that does. You've then got this option here, which I must admit, I don't use that often. But as I thought about it, I thought, you know what, you really do. You just don't even think about it anymore. So what we're talking about is having some files, and we've got no problems having files here, have we? We've got lots of files on the desktop, for example. But we've also got some data in here, our bingo cards. So there we go. We've got our bingo cards in there. We have our yellow bingo cards. We have lots of files. So what this is talking about in here is if you hold down the Control key and then double tap. So I'm double tapping the Control key. It loads in that file into Alfred, the file that you have selected. And it takes you straight to the Actions panel. And in here you can start doing stuff with it. And it's not just the stuff that you see listed. You scroll down, there's all sorts in here. Like, where did these colours come from? And what's the better zip thing and the yoink thing? Right. It's a fast way to work with your files. So let's imagine I'm in here and I'm thinking, right, these 7 are the ones that I particularly want to work with. I can quickly double tap that and say, let's make the label red. And as soon as I do that, it applies to all of them without me having to make the selection and right click and all the rest of it and choose in here. And that's actually a lot faster. So this double tap of the control key loads in either an individual file or a group of files, or it could be a folder, and allows you to do certain stuff with it. So it could be, I want to open that PDF, but I want to open it. If I clicked open, it would open it with what? Well, it would open, it tells you over here, it would open with PDF Expert. But what if I wanted, particularly this time, to open it with something else? So maybe I wanted to open it in Acrobat. In fact, I can't even remember if I've got Acrobat installed. Have I got Acrobat installed? Let's find out. No, I don't. So we won't be opening it in Acrobat, will we? But I could open it in Preview. So I'm overriding the default behaviour by using Alfred and the double tap of the control key to decide where I'm opening that, or to set, in this case, these 7 files with a red label. Or I could go in there and compress is an option with Better Zip. So I just do that. It gives me an option, how would you like to do it? And I'm going to do a save for PC, which means it doesn't have the .files in it. And it struts around with its little stuff and then says, where do you want to save it? And I'll put it in there. And it will make an archive, and there's the archive. So file management, including not just labels, but also zipping files as well. That's only the tip of the iceberg. Honestly, it is. Right, other stuff you can do here. You can bring Alfred up and use the / key. And when you do that, it goes and shows you the folders. So you're navigating your folders here, even the private ones like the library and stuff like that. If you want something even better than that, bring Alfred back and use the tilde key. And what that will do is show you the root of your home folder. And from here, you can now start to type the next bit that you want to work. So if I wanted to open the Parallels folder, I just start typing it. Once I've got that there, I can press enter, and then there's actually no files in there, to be honest. Let's go back to users. Let's go back to me. Where have I got some files? I've got some files in the local thing. So I've got some bingo cards in there. ITV stuff. I've got my contextual intros for MacBites. And MacBites the book. Oh, it exists. There's a Scrivener file. It must do. But in here, I can just keep navigating. So I've selected that. And where do you want to see it? Well, I want to browse the folder. And now I've got the cards in here. These are the files I've been working with. And once I've found what I want, so in that case with that one, use the arrow key again, and then you can do all of this. So if actually what I wanted to do with it was compress it, I can do exactly the same thing in there that I did in the other one. It'll eventually prompt me for a name. That will be fine. We'll put it in the bingo cards. And I've made a zip file of it using another application, but I didn't have to open the application. Alfred hooks into that application and lets me use it. Right, so that was the / and the tilde. You've also got what I call F searches. So an F search means inside Alfred, in the workflows, which is a premium feature, you have the option in here to create. In fact, I think down here, if you add one, it's an example. It's either a template or an example. Oh, yeah, simple folder search. And is it in here? Files and apps? No, it's not. It's in the examples. So if I create a new one of these and say I just want a simple folder search and do that, it says, right, you use the keyword F, it will search for only folders within the home folder. You can then hit return to open the file or alt and return to reveal it in the Finder. So this here is you type F and then you start querying it. Now, what I'm going to do with that, because I've already done this, so we don't actually want that one. If I go in here, I've already got one for folder, right, which is that one. And I simplified it. I only ever want it to open it. I don't want to add it to Alfred or generally piddle around with it. I just want to find it and open it. So if I type F and then pass it enough characters that it knows what folder I'm talking about, it will just open the folder. So for instance, My documents folder, like everybody else's documents folder, is right up there, and I've got mine in iCloud. But I never put anything in there. I have a documents local down here. This is stuff I don't want sending up to iCloud. The fact that my documents folder is in iCloud is literally just historical. I can't have the desktop folder up there without the documents, I don't think. So I just leave it alone. But I use this local folder. So this is why MacBites the book is in there. So let's say I don't have my Finder open. So I'm sat here and I don't have my Finder open. But I'd like to open my local folder. So I put F and then I put a space. Otherwise it's going to start opening applications. But I put the space. And it says search folders only. And it doesn't mean search for files inside folders. It means search just for folders. So if I put local, the first one that comes up is documents local. There are reasons why, but you can see in here as well, I've got local drafts it's found, and it's found this local images, and it's found other things in there. But the first option it brings up, that one is what I want. And when I click on that or press enter, that's the folder it opens. And that is not programmed in any clever way at all. I'm just pressing F. And if I then put like Elaine in, I've got drops for Elaine, that's our black hole. I've got this that's in my archives. I've got lots of folders called Mike and Elaine or Elaine. I've got Mike and Elaine there. We've got my newsletter there. We've got my website. I'd probably maybe want the black hole or one of these, but that's how it works. You just type part of the folder name. So maybe ITV archive, that's in the local folder. That will take me straight there. That allows you to search your entire system for a folder. Why have we got bingo cards showing there? It's got itself giddy, hasn't it? Shall we relaunch the Finder or would all heck break loose? That sorted the problem. Right. Doesn't like us getting too excited with all the things we're doing. But with that, you don't have to be precise. So let's say I'm looking for the comms folder. Actually, because I use that a lot, it does come up top if I type F for find me a folder, comms. But I can't guarantee that. It could well be that that doesn't happen. I'm trying to think of what circumstance wouldn't it happen. Let's have a look. It's even working with that one at the moment. But just to be absolutely certain and to not have to think what's the folder actually called, there's another way to work with it in Alfred, which is get specific with Alfred. So what I have set up in here is navigation. And you can see there's quite a lot of it. These are folders that I have over the years set up to go to specific locations. So what I do, instead of putting the F, I actually have it programmed to go to certain places with a specific shortcut. So let's see that. So for instance, I want to see my audio hijack files. Folder, audio hijack. The difference, there's no space. It's a shortcut. And as soon as I do that, it opens up. And it's still recording live today at 19 minutes past. And I have that for many, many things. So folder, comms folder, open the comms folder. And the comms folder is where I put emails that are about to go into Notion for the sending of. So this folder, I'm in and out of it all of the time. There are, for many years, I've had Dropbox, which is just open my Dropbox folder. I got more specific with that, which is I want a folder opening. It's Dropbox, but it's my screenshots. What's wrong with that? Oh no, it's that. So that one will open up my screenshots folder in Dropbox, a specific folder, just one specific folder, just in case that F and me typing it doesn't work, because I've got a million folders called screenshots. So now I've got screensaver, screenshot management, screenshot. None of those are the right folder. That's not what I want. So if I put DX for Dropbox, S for screenshots, press enter, I'm done. Other ones I've got are, I got PPT, no, that opens PowerPoint, that's not the one. That must be that. And that will open my PowerPoint folder on Dropbox. Would it work if I just did a search and put PowerPoint? No. Because I've got, actually, is that the one? It's that one. It's the second one. But the point is I have to think about it, because I've got all of these files it could be. That one's coming up first, which is Power BI. Trust me, that's not mine. But it's there. So I'd have to look down the list. So to stop me having to look down the list, I just make shortcut keys that 100% work. And I know that they work. So how I do that, they are all workflows in my navigation. And we have more than one of those. So it's a fairly new one, this, so it'll be over here. And every one of these, there we go, DX for Dropbox, PPT. I've got this one that's actually going to the right place now, to be honest. So both of those now do the same thing. And each of these, as you can see, have that F at the beginning, meaning this is a folder. When you type that keyword, open up that folder. When I type fcoms, in fact, FC is enough now, go to that folder. When I type folder MacBites, go to that folder. So what this looks like if we're going to create one. So I would say let's go to the desktop, but yeah, maybe not tonight. Let's get to the desktop and let's grab that lot and let's try put them in a single little folder, which will upset the apple cart a lot. So I'm also going to move it into the local folder. Right, so if we bring our desktop back, then I can go on here and create a new folder, and we'll call this Demo 133. And I would like that folder to be, I'd like to be able to open that folder by just typing a keyword. Okay, so what I will do in here is I need to add, actually what I do is just copy these, but if you've never done it before, let's add a blank workflow and start it completely from scratch. So I'll call this folder management or folder navigation. Folder navigation. I can put a description in if I want, I can put artwork in if I want, and I can fill all of this information in, but you don't need to. So I'll just put that, and it gives you this blank area here. Then hit add, and you do actually get some templates. So there's essentials, and this will actually give you a good starting place. Folders and apps for a start. Launch a file group from a hotkey or a keyword. Any of those might be a good start, but we'll do it from scratch. We will do it from scratch, and we will add from up here. No, I don't want a remote page. That's not what I want at all. Let's put in, what do we want to do for this to happen? So you get inputs, and I would like a keyword because I want it to work in Alfred. So I want to put a keyword in. What's the keyword that I want to put in? So let's say it's D0133. That's my keyword. Do I need an argument? No. An argument is a little bit of extra text that you pass to something. We don't need that. The title is whatever you choose, but let's say open after hours 0133 demo folder. You've also got the opportunity in the subtext to put more information. So what I tend to do in the bit below is where it is. So I would put maybe on the desktop. That's the instruction. You've saved it. That's the instruction. But then you need to tell it what to do. So you need another item here. And it's not going to be a trigger, and it's not going to be an input because you've already done that. What you now need is some kind of action with it. So open file or launch apps and files. That looks hopeful. One of those would probably do. So if we do that, all you need to do here is open it. Now in this case, it's a file and you tell it the default application. I'm going to do it a different way, which is that launch apps and files here. And then I'm just going to drag that in. The difference is the other one, you were passing it a file and then it was choosing which application to open it in. With this one, you're just dragging in what you want it to open and we're done. That's it. And okay. Now, that won't work. At the moment, that won't work because we haven't hooked this up to that. But all we need to do to create the connection is that just drag the knob on the side to the next step in the process, and that's it. So if we now do, what was my keyword? 0133, open the folder. Why are you not opening the folder? That would be good. You are not opening the folder. Is that the way I did it with the other one? Let me have a look. Navigation, all the way over here. That is exactly what I did with it. It's playing with my mind tonight, isn't it? Unless it's opened it somewhere else. Let's have a look. Oh, I've got lots of windows open over here. Don't do it on the wrong screen if you're going to do it at all. Let's get rid of that and try again. O1. Oh. No. Let me see. What you playing at? You're playing with my mind. I have no idea where I put that now. Oh, come on. Navigation. Folder navigation. Right, keyword. That should work. That should work. Because it's showing it me, but it isn't actually opening the folder, and I don't know why it's not opening the folder. Crying out loud. Come on. Open the folder. That's exactly what I've done with all of the others to prove the point. The ones that were working over here that you've just seen. Come on, down there. Which one haven't we done? How about... I've no idea what that one is. How about that one? Folder MacBites. It's doing it. It's doing it off screen. It's doing it over here. But it is doing it. There's the MacBites folder. Don't you love a demo when it plays with your mind live? Yeah, the answer to that is no. No, I don't enjoy that. Not one little bit. But that's what I use it for navigation. So there's F searches, which is built in. No, you have to create it, but it's generic. So F searches are generic. You put F and then a folder, and it goes away and it looks live. The other ones are specific folders. Right, what other things can you do with it? Recent files. I don't know if you're aware about recent files, but if you open or attempt, I'm going to open preview. If you use the arrow key and move across, you can use the arrow key a second time, and it will show you the files that you've recently had open. And from there, you can actually open them up. I have no idea what that file is. No idea. But I knew that I had it open earlier today. You can, of course, if you're then looking for it, click on there. It will give you this information and it will say it's the document library data. But you can also use the command key and follow back up. And we used it in after hours 131 in the projects folder of Dropbox. Perfect. So that's the recent files. There is another way to work with this, which is very cool. So if I bring this up and I want to find a particular file, and I know it had the name Lola in it. If you start with not a speech mark, a comma, an apostrophe. Start with an apostrophe. Put a space. And then start typing a file name. So I knew Lola was in it. It starts showing me all these pictures, which pretty much are pictures of Lola. Right, the beauty of this is, one, you can just click on it and it will open it. There she is. Look at her sulking little face. So that's one thing you can do. But there are many pictures there. So let's say I want the sofa one and I want the polling station one and I want the other one. But they're all in different locations. So I would have a difficult job corralling all these files together that I want. But Alfred has a buffer. Let me know in the chat, who's heard of the Alfred buffer? Do you use the Alfred buffer?
No.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh, it's a new toy for Mike then. Right, you can navigate these files by moving up and down. But if you use your Option key and your arrow keys, you can add these files to the Alfred buffer. So I'm holding it down and I'm using the... Why are you not working? Why are you not doing this for me? Oh, I am having a nightmare tonight. Come on. It was definitely the Option key, but that's not what you're doing now, is it? Crying out loud. No, you're not doing it. What it's doing is showing me where they actually are, and that's not what I want it to do. And you know what? This worked perfectly in rehearsal.
Kim's not heard of the buffer.
Would that I could get the buffer working, because that's what it's telling me to do. Right, Option and arrow keys to manage the buffer. So move down to it and then use it, and it's not working. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quit Alfred and start again. Oh, I love it when a demo goes wrong. I don't, obviously. Did I update this? Yeah, because it's automatically checking for updates, so it's not that. Right, okay. quit Alfred. Do you know the first thing I do at that point? Mike will tell you. I then try and run Alfred to run Alfred, as it were. And then Alfred doesn't work, and I think, what's wrong with that? Right, let's get Alfred running again. I think Alfred is ready to rock and roll. Right, I think so. Right, shall we try that again? Right, Lola. And I want to do that. It's not doing it. I don't know why it's not. I am doing exactly what I did before, and it is not working. Nope, it's not working. Right, rather than waste time, I better come back to that next week when I've worked out what's wrong with it. It was literally working while Mike was talking about Excel. So why is it not working this time? Oh, let me give it one more go. See if I can get it working. No. 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 What it's doing is opening it up in a window, which is not what I want it to do. So I don't know if I've mapped a different key, but I can't have done in the last 5 minutes, can I? Surely not in the last 5 minutes I can't have done. I can try that. No, it's not doing it. It's not doing it. Right, well, I won't waste any more time with it. We'll come back to that next week. I will do that at the beginning next week when I've beaten it into submission with the stick. The buffer is so cool, and yet why is it not working? Did I have Firefox up? Did I? Let me have a look in there. That was where I put my notes, so it definitely should. No, that's what it's saying. What did I put in my notes? No. So, I should do that. I should then type the file name. And once I've got Lola, it assures me if I hold down that key and an arrow, it will put it... Oh, and now it's working. That's exactly what I did 2 seconds ago. Anyway, let's carry on and do that. So what it's done is it's taken that file, the top one now has a circle on it and with an arrow on it. And that's telling you it's added it to the buffer. If I now move down... Sarah can't get it to open a folder at all, but you like the idea. Well, it shouldn't have been doing that. So it will do that, but not with that shortcut key. But it's obviously in a mood. So I can move up and down these results. And when I stop on the one I want, I tap the up key again. So it's Option and up. And it adds it to the Alfred buffer. Once I've got things in the Alfred buffer, I can use Option and right arrow. And that will take me through to the Actions panel. And the actions will happen to all 4 files, which it's showing you at the top where it says 4 files selected. And down the side, it's showing you that there are 4 files selected. So they were all in different locations, if you remember. And I didn't want to particularly open them in all of the windows, although Sarah does want to open them in all of the windows. So we'll work on that as well. But what it will allow me to do is any action that is configured inside Alfred. So if I wanted to send those 4 files via email to somebody, I could, even though they were in 4 different locations, because placing them in the Alfred buffer allows you to operate on them in the same way at the same time. So one thing I might want to do with them is, if we look down the list of options, I could add my coloured tags to it, but I've got my compress option as well. So I could do that, and again, save for PC, because people don't want the dot files. And it brings up this, where I can save it. So I'm going to put it on the desktop, and we'll call that Lola. And I didn't have to go and find those files individually to do it. I did the whole lot via Alfred, just by searching for it. So let's see that again, if it's going to play ball a second time. So let's do the Lola thing again. And this time we'll move down to that file there and add that to the buffer. And Lola's selfie and add that to the buffer. The trick with this is remembering the keys and it not carping out on you in the middle of a demo. So the whole thing is driven by the Option key and the arrow keys. So actually it's not that difficult to remember. The first time you do it, you'll be like a newborn kitten. You'll be like, did that work? I don't know whether that's right or not. But once you've got it, you're good to go. That buffer, if I just use the arrow key now move across. That's Lola's selfie, right up the nose. She wasn't pleased. It's only operating on that particular file. You can see there's one file and it's got the preview, and at the top there's one file listed, but I had the buffer, so what happened? Well, what happened was I didn't use option arrow, I just used arrow, in which case it only happens to one thing at all. Press the escape key and it takes you back to where you had two selected. And then I can go through there and add some extra ones. Hold the option key down, use the right arrow, and now anything you do will happen to all three of those files, which could be anything here. So open them with a particular application, because if you look at them, there's two JPEGs and an Affinity photo file. So if I just said open, two would open with preview and one would open with Affinity Photo. But if I wanted them all to open with Affinity Photo, then I do open with, and as I move across, I get the option to open them with. In that case, I would choose Affinity Photo. Let's go across again. Or I could mail them to somebody or delete them, or even copy the paths, add to the favourites, whatever you would want to do with them. So let's say with these, let's give them an orange label. And now they have all got an orange label. So if I bring that back, and I think that was one of them, wasn't it? That Lola at the polling station. Which ones did I pick? Let's pick that one and hope it was that one. Right, because with that one, if I use the arrow key, we can do a reveal in Finder, and it will open that up in the Finder. And that wasn't one I gave an orange dot to, clearly not. But you get the idea. You can open them up, you can move them, you can create zip files of them, and you're using only Alfred. I mentioned last time when we looked at Yoink that one of the features of Yoink was that it could be used as like a holding area for files, but these files could be put there other than by you dragging and dropping them. So I have Yoink set up that when I do that, that happens. So as soon as I drag close enough to the Yoink shelf appears and I can drag and drop it. But Yoink is clever enough to accept files even if its interface isn't on the screen. So in here, if I do my Let's Look for Lola stuff again, and I want to do something with that polling station one, I can move across and do add to Yoink, and it will be automatically added to Yoink, even though I don't know where it came from. I have no idea where that file was stored. It doesn't matter, because it can put it into Yoink. Even though it's got that feature, I still think the other app that I use, which is Dropover, is probably better for the dropping thing, which was, I did that and I got a shelf. And when I've got a shelf, I can move it onto another screen out of the way, or I can move it on this screen and I can leave it there. So I personally would still stick with that one. But if it's important that you've got that feature with Yoink, it might work better for you because it can be coded. So you can have that automatically sent to Yoink and then sent from Yoink somewhere else or doing something else. So the buffer is one of the coolest features, and yet not many people know about it. It tends to be hidden away because it's not obvious what it does. It's not even obvious how to access it. So if you never read the manual, Mike, you ever read the manual?
No.
No. Then you would have no idea it was there. But that's where it is. That's how to access it. And that's just a few of the things that you could actually do with it. The biggest thing for me is when I'm looking for files from different locations. And I add them to the buffer and then add them to a zip file. And put the zip file on the desktop and then send the zip file from there. So Alfred for file management, who knew? Who knew? But it can. It's really good. And as I said, when I was looking for the commands, I thought, I don't use that much. And then I thought, you do. You just don't even consider that it's Alfred anymore. So if I've got this and I just want to, add a coloured tag to it, then I will bring it up like that and just start typing orange and I'm done. I don't go through the right click and then where is it this time? Because when you right click, depending on what you've got here, so send with transfer, backup with Dropbox, you may have 20 of those in there and these are going to be somewhere else. They're not always in the same place. So it's far easier to just program it to use some shortcut key that you're happy with. And the situation is I'm giving you shortcut keys, but your shortcut keys may be completely different. So in here, features, the actions, I've got this selection hotkey down to double tapping the control key, but that's not the default. I went for that because doing other stuff did different things. And I can't remember what the clash was, but I changed it. So for this to work for you, do go through the settings first and make sure that everything's configured. And if I've got something on my actions list here that isn't on yours, then maybe somebody's gone in and taken the tick out. From memory, I think everything's got a tick in it. But it's a long time since I set that up, so I don't know. But I remember taking the terminal one out. So, file management with Alfred. Amazing, hey? Hope that has been interesting for you and possibly even new to you. Hey, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally new to it.
Totally new to
Will you be giving that a go?
Yeah.
He means no. He means I can't be expected to remember that. It'll never happen, is what he means. Night, Sarah. Right, let's get back into...
My little brain only has a certain capacity.
That's what you tell me, isn't it? Right, we've got an unboxing. Oh, we do. Don't know how exciting it'll be for you, but we have. And I'm going to take it all the way, I'm hoping. So, I need lots of different stuff on the desktop.
Sarah says she's got it going, not that she's going.
Oh, right, you've got it going.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I need new glasses, don't I? Right, where did I put the thing I said I mustn't lose? Oh, there it is. Right, let's bring that on the desk. I've got to set the desktop up for this to have any meaning. But possibly not at this point, actually, because then you'll be thinking, what on earth is that doing on the desk? But there's method in my madness. So, I'm moving stuff, and I'm getting the toys, and I need... No, I've already got the light.
Do you need a hand?
I think I'm all right-ish. I think so. And I move my iPad out of the way and hope that this works. So let's put that there. Oh, I need one more item. Where's the one more item gone? There it is. There it is. But I can't show you that, because if I show you that, you'll know what's in the package. So I'll move this out of the way and put that there. And fingers crossed that this all works. So let's see if it does or not. Right, we just need that, I do believe. Oh, that's rather good. Right, let's cut to that. There we go. Unboxing. This was quite concerning because it's actually just a paper bag. Just a paper bag. What were they thinking? Given what's in it. So let's open it.
It looks like what your Mackie D's comes in.
It does. It does. It's that kind. It's just paper. I mean, if anything needed wrapping up, this did. Instead of which, they just send it in paper. To turn it upside down as well. Come on. Oh dear. I could get in here and there'd be nothing
for
to
the
work.
bear to play with.
Oh, the bag. Yeah, she'd love it. Put her Kong in it and she'd love it. Right, let's get in there. Right. Yes, I'm right. Why would you?
It is what we thought.
Why would you package these like this? Who in their right minds would package more light bulbs in a paper bag? You'd wrap them up, for crying out loud, in cotton wool. But no. So we're retiring the bulbs that have decided they don't want to play anymore. So we tested one, and then I got some more. So that's what's in the bag. Right, there's the bag for Lola. Right, he's disappeared on me. So these are the bulbs we're going for. Philips Hue bulbs are not cheap. These are not the ones that go a million different colours. They go from like a very warm orange to a very cool light blue. So they're called warm white, I think. And it says app controlled. So I thought we'd set one up. If you've never set one up, oh, you've got to have fun like this. So let's get it out. Well, let's get one of them out anyway. Right. Oh, there we go. So in the packet, there's two bulbs, separately wrapped. They could do with possibly more careful wrapping, but these are the bulbs. Right. So to get these working, Mike said, when I opened the first two, he said, "Do you want a ladder?" I said, "What for?" He said, "Because you need to install the bulb." I said, "Oh, Mike, don't be so naive." Yeah, I'm not moving from where I am, trust me. Because a while back, if you remember, when I set the last lot up, I bought this. This is fabulous. It's got a plug on it which has a switch underneath. And then this end of it is a bulb holder. And I got an adapter with it for some bulbs that had, they were Edison screws. And this is bayonet. So I got an adapter for it. But these bulbs, I don't need to use the adapter for. So I said, don't be silly. So what we need to do is just take one out, and I set it up sat next to me. I'm not climbing the ladder and getting the bulb in and then finding out it's not working. That's not happening.
That's my job.
No. It's all configured by the time you do it. So that's what the bulb actually looks like. That's what we're working with. And what I do with it is set it up in here like that. So very straightforward in there. And then it gets installed on an extension. So I really don't have to think about this, do I? I really don't have to think about it. All I need to do is plug that in. So we have it in the bottom one. Like that. Okay. Hopefully this is turned on. There we go. Let there be light.
Ooh.
There's the bulb. So let's get it so you can see it. I'm now blinded by the flaming thing. And then it flashes to let you know it's ready. And somewhere here I've got a phone. So let's see if Alexa wants to talk to it. So into the A-Ladies application, right, and it says, new light named Fourth found. So it's disappeared. If I go into the lights, it should be in there as Fourth somewhere. Where have you gone? Oh, where have you put yourself? You were there a minute ago. And it says a camera discovered. That's interesting. So somewhere in here, I'm hoping to see Fourth bulb. Otherwise, I'm going to have to turn it off again and start again. Where have you disappeared to? It did flash up, which was such good news. No, I don't see it listed there. And if I go to my lights, it's not there either. Oh, come on. Right, I'll tell you what, I'll turn it off and turn it on again, and then hopefully it'll come back on. And I'll have to catch it this time on its way past. I opted to have them added to the account. So technically speaking, it should work well. So I'm poised now to catch the thing on the way past. What's the betting it doesn't come up twice? Don't do that to me, don't. No, I'm not seeing it. If I go to there, no. Oh, did you only do it once? Let me do the add and see if I can add it. Add a device. I'll do the add a device at the bottom. So we'll add a device. And it's a Philips Hue bulb, which means I don't have to fiddle around. I can just do that. And I'll do a discover devices. So it's looking for things to connect to. This did take about 45 seconds, which it says it will. So let's see how it gets on. I can't even see the thing moving. Oh, don't let me down now. What's interesting is, because I asked it to be set up, the first two bulbs arrived and they were called 2 and 3, second and third. And I'm like, where's number 1? They had remembered that they sent me a free bulb about 3-4 years ago. And I'd totally forgotten. It's actually in the bedroom, that bulb. So they remembered, which was just as well. Right, it should strut its stuff. I'll have to look at the camera because I can't see from this angle. Don't let me down. Right, what have you found? 9 devices found and connected. That's interesting. I wonder what they are. Probably next doors. Right, choose which to set up. Fourth light is what I'm going for. So I'll do set up device. So what it wants you to do is add this light to a group. Now, where's this one going? Putting this in the bedroom, aren't we? Moving the bedroom one downstairs.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to set this up. So I want to choose a group to put it in. I want to put it in the bedroom group and add to group. And that's it. It's done and set up. Obviously, it's not good if it's just called, fourth light. But let's continue. I don't want to set anything else up. I want to look at the devices that are in here. So we've got the bedroom light here and we've got fourth light there. The bedroom light is moving to the porch. So I'm going to go into the bedroom one. I'm going to go into the settings of it, and where it's set up there, I'm going to change that, and I'm going to move that one down to the porch. So that's going to be the porch light. And okay. Right. I know it's in the bedroom, but we're not going to worry about this. We're going into this fourth light here, And we're going to rename that because that's going to be the bedroom light. Bedroom light. Okay. So, okay on that. This is the coolest bit of all. Right, in here you can change the brightness. So hopefully you can see it. Let's move that a bit this way. You can see the light, you're now blinded by the light like I am. But we can take the brightness right down. That's bearable now. Now I can see what I'm doing. But we can also change the colour as well. So it's soft white at the moment, but you could make it warm white. So warm white taken back and taken up is quite orangey. You can see that's much more orangey. At the other end of the scale, you can have it set to cool white. And now it's clinical. It's clinical. Look at that. That is clinical. I think we want it warm white, don't we, Mike? Mm. You can actually see it changing. So that's good news. And I don't think we need it that bright either, do we? So maybe 40%. I want to be woken up gently. I'm not good if I'm not woken up gently, am I?
No.
No, I'm terrible. Right, and then take that back. Another one we need. Let's see if we can do it automatically this time. And then let's see if it works by turning it off. Oh, it's working. Oh, fantastic. Right, so I'm going to take that out of there, remembering that that is turned on. So that's the bedroom bulb. The other one in here is not going to be the bedroom bulb. This one is going to be Mike's bedside light. Right, so I've got to grab this fast as it goes past. So as it flashes, technically speaking, it should give me a message. You're not even flashing this time. There we go. Flashed, yep. Get the A lady on side. Go on, give me a message. Give me a message. Right. There we go. So that's already set up. So what I need to do with that is go in there, change the name of it. This one being Mike's bedside. Got that right? Light. Awesome. Get rid of that one. And we're done. Oh, that is just so amazing. I wish you could see how long it took the other ones to do. Again, we're not going to need that one at 100%. Come on, take it down. Doesn't need to be more than 40. Maybe even less with that one. But we are going to have it warm white because we like warm white. And it's that easy to set it up. Oh, the other ones are a living nightmare. A living nightmare. But what I do need to do with that at the moment... where are we? It's not in the bedroom, that one. So in the lights, where the lights actually are, we need to find Mike's bedside light. That one. And we need to add it to a group, which is the bedroom one.
Kim wants to know, can I set them to my phone? We tried that, didn't we?
We tried that, and for some reason the Echo devices appear, but
the bulbs don't.
So we're working on that. I think there must be a way, but I'm not sure.
What's
how.
the app? Is it just the...
It's just the Alexa
the
app.
A-Lady app.
It's the A-Lady app. So I need to get that device in here somehow, into the upstairs. In fact, it's the bedroom one, isn't it? Come on. How do I get that into the group? Bedroom group. I would have thought you added one. Ah, here we go. So we need to find Mike's bedside lamp that's actually turned on. Which is in... Oh, it's all over the place. You see how many devices we've got? Right, I think it's that one. Although it's hard to tell. Let me add the pair of them. I'll explain what's going on. That's working. So in the bedroom... In fact, it doesn't look like it is. What are you doing? I need to add lights. So I want to add these lights. So that's correct.
There is an add a device. I won't click it.
No, don't upset it.
No.
Particularly at the moment. Bedroom light, that's okay. Where's Mike's bedside light? Right, so let's do that. And save. Right, so if I go back here. Right, bedroom's done, so I'm going back here. And what I'm doing is, this one is the one we've had to take off because although it can see it, it doesn't like it. So what I'm going to do with it is just bin that one because we're not using that one. And what we've now got is there's 2 Echo Shows in there, mine and Mike's. There's the bedroom light, which we've just taken out, that's over there. This is Mike's bedside light, which is turned on, and the porch light, which is going downstairs, but at the moment is in the bedroom. So if I wanted to turn the bedroom light on at the moment, that's the light. But it's going to be this one that we're installing, which is this bedroom light with a red dot on. So all I now need to do is to set up all of the others, which we've got here. So I've got another 4 to set up. One is my bedside light. One is the understairs cupboard. Where were the others going? My bedside light, understairs cupboard. One's for the hall. And then I think we're done. I think we're done at that point. But when I set these up before, I used an entirely different app, which is that one, which is called Smart Life. And the problem with it is, while the bulbs are recognised, it isn't actually turning them on and off. This is a bridge application. These bulbs were much cheaper. But that didn't turn out well in the long run, did it? In essence, what I was doing was just testing it. Was this something that we would stick with, or would we just turn the switches on and off? And we did stick with it. And to the point that once the A lady is saying, yes, I've done that, and Mike's saying, no, you haven't, something needed to be done. So that's why we went for the Philips Hue one. So we leave that application totally out of the running now, and we just control the whole lot with the A lady application. And our lovely, lovely orange bulbs. So that was a good one. Can you see why I was concerned that they shipped them in a brown paper bag? What were they thinking? Seriously, that's bad news. But the good thing with that is, one, they're attached to your Amazon account, which means that the setup and configuration's an absolute doddle, a total doddle. So I will turn that off and let that cool down. That's your bedside one, isn't it? That's the other thing. Pro tip: put post-it notes on them, which I actually did. But I know at the moment that one is the bedroom, and that one I'm going to leave it in here. Oh, for crying out loud! Come on. Oh, it's not coming out of there. Oh, have you ever had one of those days? What with Alfred acting up, and that not letting go of that. There we go. Right, that one is your bedside light. So you could go and install that if you wanted, if you've got something to put on your hand. I don't sound so thrilled or excited about doing it fast.
No, disturb the dog. She's in there.
Oh, bless. So we'll have to leave it until Lola's finished.
Yeah.
She's such a spoilt girl. She really is. Right, look at the state of my desk now. And I need to push buttons. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's do that. And wrap up. So, heading over there. So we did the unboxing. Yay! Oh, slide's not moving again. Come off it. You'll drive me insane. What have we got coming up? We have, on the 25th, next week, 134. So hopefully you'll be joining us for that. On demand, we have everything that we have done available on demand at youtube.com/ElaineGiles. We have the MacBites After Hours playlist, which is at macbites.co.uk/after hours playlist. We are still marooned at MacBites headquarters. Likely to be so for a while, R8 and all of that. And I will catch up. One day I will catch up with episodes and they'll all be in the feed. So you need to be ready for that grand day. Might even happen before the end of the holiday, you never know. I won't mention which holiday. And all of that is happening at MacBites FM. So we love you guys. If you've love us or you have enjoyed anything that you see today, give us a like, because it really makes a difference with YouTube. In the meanwhile, news from me is at elainegiles.com/VIP.
It's Kiva's birthday.
Oh, it's Kiva's birthday. Right, we'll have a birthday party for Kiva then. How old is Kiva?
I thought
Remind me.
Kiva's birthday was the 24th.
You're just getting confused.
Yeah.
No, it's going... Well, if it is the 25th, the time difference may have confused you.
Yeah.
Right, the MacBites mail is at macbites.co.uk/macbites-mail. And we're in Slack. Oh, we had a ball this week in Slack.
It's the 24th, yeah, because we start on Friday, don't we?
Look at his face.
No.
Yes, Mike.
No.
Never mind, whatever makes you happy. Right, so we've had a ball in Slack. Oh, the bears. The bears were just fantastic. And I don't know if Renee's seen the bears. You got to see the bears because they're in this tub. And I'm not spoiling it if you've not seen it. But that's where we carry on the conversation. So if you are not a member, do join us, totally free, macbites.co.uk/Slack. And we will be back next week. In the meanwhile, you can contact us any of those ways. Elaine for the win. That's what I like. Kiva will be 8. Oh, she just looks like a pop. You celebrate all month long. That's the thing. They're just too cute. And you know, I don't know if Lola knows it's her birthday, but she sure did when she got the ice cream. And we decided we were going to have a little treat of our own with the ice cream. All right, I'm going to head off into here. Mouse pointer. Why is this mouse possessed? It's every week. Right, let's do the magic beans. Where were we up to? Oh, yes. It's still not mathematically impossible for young Jonathan to claw this back. Not yet. Will it become mathematically impossible? No, not yet. No, because he's got 2 points. So we've got a good few weeks to go before it's mathematically impossible. At which point, what do we do? Do we declare me a winner for the entire year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how many points Jonathan can get. We need to do a divvy up on how many points he got last year. And then do a comparison, don't we? That's what we actually need to do. Anyway, good morning to you, Jonathan. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. I had visions of me opening that and them just being shards of glass. But they must have been very careful when they delivered it. Wouldn't you think you'd at least put fragile on it? Really? Yes, Renee, the Rubbermaid tub. That was fabulous. You never sold them. They're only sold in the US. Oh, Renee. There, I had visions of you whipping to zoos and trying to talk them into taking them. That would have been fabulous. Never seen one that big, but there again, that was a big bear. Oh, we loved it. Yes, good morning, Jonathan. Hope you enjoy it. Right, let me get back to there. And any last questions? Let me know. Johnny's been overworked. He has, Kim, you're quite right. They're very mean to young Jonathan. He's had to work out of hours and all kinds of stuff. And it really isn't on. No wonder he's tired, poor lad. They should realise that Fridays are sacrosanct and leave him be. So he can come here and enjoy it live with the rest of us. But never mind. That's such his life. We're still waiting for the thunderstorms, Jonathan included, because you know how close he is. Yeah. So the weather warning is now officially stopped. That ended about midnight. And I'm thinking to myself, but, you know, and what happened? We didn't get it. It didn't arrive. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Glad you enjoyed it, Kim. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, if there are no questions, we're going to head off. We need our beauty sleep, don't we?
We do.
This is because a holiday is never a holiday here. We're obviously working on stuff of our own, rather than for other people. So we're having a good time. But it's not. It's a busman's holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So for the moment, I'm going to say good night from me.
And good night from me.
And we will both see you next time. Stay safe, guys.